Chapter 6075. The demon immortal's eyes flickered with a cold light. It was a kind of arrogance and indifference that looked down on the common people. Previously, he didn't kill Lin Xian because Lin Xian was useful to him. Now that the other party had become a useless person, he wouldn't have any regrets. It was over. The demon immortal opened his mouth and spat out a stream of immortal qi, which turned into an immortal river that danced in the wind. It was as if it had transformed into a water dragon, baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. Lin Xian's expression was cold, and he didn't say a word. He clenched the universe ring and waved it fiercely. The universe ring carried the power of the immortal tower and surged forward. The two collided, making an earth-shattering sound of destruction. The void shattered like a divine drum shaking, shocking people's souls. Lin Xian kept retreating. However, this time he blocked the other party's attack. So what if it was an earth immortal? Lin Xian laughed. You're just as— How is this possible? The great emperors in the distance were all stunned. Even if all of them joined forces, they wouldn't dare to compete with this demon immortal. But now, a young man below the great emperor actually blocked the attack of an earth immortal. It was incredible. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they wouldn't have believed it at all. The first elder exclaimed, "Is this guy going to defy the heavens?" Xia Qinyu also gritted her teeth. Impossible. Just watch. The means of an earth immortal are far beyond our expectations. This kid absolutely can't survive. The demon immortal's face was also cold. The power of the immortal tower could actually allow a quasi-emperor to contend with him. If he got it, how terrifying would it be? No one in the 9 Serenities would be his match. He could even leave the 9 Serenities and go to a wider universe, to conquer all the worlds in the universe. Thinking of this, he became excited. In the next moment, he attacked again. With his hands behind his back, his hair suddenly grew long, as if it had turned into a black waterfall sweeping forward. Every strand of hair that fell down could injure a great emperor. Countless black hair danced together, which was really terrifying. Lin Xian waved the universe ring to block it. He was shaken and kept retreating, his blood and qi tumbling. He could feel that some of the bones in his body were broken. There was nothing he could do about it. Even though he had the universe ring and the power of the immortal pagoda, he had no choice. However, the difference in cultivation between the two was simply too great. It was already a heaven-defying feat for Lin Xian to be able to block it. It would be very difficult for him to win. The demon immortal was overjoyed. He continued to use his hair to attack his opponent. He said, "Kid, it's useless. Your strength is not enough to support the immortal tower. You can only mobilize 1/10,000th of the immortal pagoda's power. Therefore, you won't be able to hold on for long. When I catch you, I'll let you know the consequences of going against me." His smile was so sinister that it made people's scalps tingle. Everyone knew that Lin Wudi was finished. The 9 netherworld beast was so scared that its face turned pale. He said, "Why don't we run away now? Otherwise, we won't be able to escape later." "Shut up." Xue Qi snorted coldly. "My husband won't lose. My husband has never lost before. That was in the past." The 9 netherworld beast shook its head. "How can you not lose in this world? Besides, you're facing an immortal. It's not shameful to lose to an immortal." Every time they collided in the sky, a terrifying black hole would appear. Lin Xian felt that if this continued, his situation would be very bad. It seemed that he had to find a way to leave this place first. With the immortal tower's power, he wouldn't die. However, it would be very difficult for him to defeat his opponent. The demon immortal was right. The gap between the two of them was very big. He had to leave this place and think of a way to reach the Dao validation realm. Once he succeeded in confirming his Dao, Lin Xian's strength would undergo an earth-shattering change. Now, his immortal qi seed had reached its peak, and he had achieved his goal. Therefore, he couldn't fight for a long time. Lin Xian quickly retreated. At the same time, he secretly sent a voice transmission to Xueqi and the others, asking them to leave first. Xueqi and the others retreated. The demon immortal saw their actions and sneered. "Where do you think you're going?" Demonic qi spread out from his body and enveloped the whole world. "Today, none of you will be able to leave." Not good. At this moment, not only the 9 netherworld beasts, but also Xueqi and the others had ugly expressions. The other great emperors were also in despair. Were they also being targeted? "Senior, we don't dare to go against you." Some people even knelt down and said, "Senior, please show mercy and let us go." The demon immortal didn't care about the others. In his eyes, there was only Lin Xian, a small ant. After fighting for so long, he still couldn't defeat his opponent. This made him feel very ashamed. He was a demon immortal, a high and mighty demon immortal. How could he not kill an ant? His hair continued to spiral, turning into a black canopy that pressed down mercilessly. The light on the universe ring-dimmed, and several bones in Lin Xian's body were broken. Lin Xian raised his head and roared angrily. Sword qi surged out of his body. At the same time, he took out another item. It was a stone coffin. It was very simple and unadorned. There was a mysterious pattern on it. Although it didn't emit any light, it had a great power. One could tell at a glance that it wasn't an ordinary item. It's useless, kid. Apart from the immortal tower's power, nothing else can affect me. The demon immortal sneered, and the black curtain pressed down on the stone coffin. The stone coffin shook, and then fell apart. Sure enough, everyone shook their heads. Lin Wudi was no longer able to hold on. After the stone coffin was broken, the other party would definitely die. However, the situation changed again. A bone emerged from the stone coffin. This bone was extremely white, and there was a mysterious light flickering on it. It blocked the black curtain. This was impossible. How could a bone possess such power? Whose bone was this? Everyone was stunned. Bu Tian exclaimed, "This is the stone coffin I gave Big Brother." The others were also surprised. They didn't understand. Whose bone could have such power? The demon immortal snorted coldly. "A mere dead man's bone dares to be arrogant in front of me? Suppress it." He spat out a mouthful of innate demon qi, which turned into a cage and slapped directly on the white bone. At the same time, the black hair turned into a curtain that shrouded down. He threw the white bone into the creation immortal pool. It formed countless seals. "You're just an ant. How can you compete with me?" Although this process was short, Lin Xian had already taken this opportunity to go far away. Looking at this scene, his eyes flickered. Was the bone suppressed? This was not a good thing. However, he soon smiled. "I can use this opportunity to fight back." He said, "Do you know whose bone this is? Hurry up and hand it over obediently, then kneel on the ground and kowtow to apologize. Otherwise, you're dead." "You want me to kneel down and apologize with this bone?" The demon immortal laughed. "Young man, are you scared out of your wits? What in the world can make me afraid? Even if it's the bone of God, I'm not afraid." "Is that so?" Lin Xian smiled. "Then let me tell you, this bone is not the bone of God. It's the bone of the founder of the Yuhua immortal dynasty, Dizun. How dare you insult his bone and seal it? You've already offended the Yuhua immortal dynasty. Wait to bear the anger of the Yuhua immortal dynasty." Chapter 6076. Lin Xian's voice rang out, shocking everyone once again. Was this the bone of the Dizun? The founder of the Yuhua immortal dynasty? Heavens, these great emperors were all stunned. Even the faces of the Xia family changed drastically. How could this kid have such a treasure? How could they not know about the Yuhua immortal dynasty? That was a terrifying existence that wanted to ascend together with them back then. Although they failed later on, however, this bold idea surpassed everything. Until now, no one dared to be the second Yuhua immortal dynasty. As for the Dizun, he was even more terrifying back then. He founded the immortal dynasty and wanted everyone in the immortal dynasty to become immortals. What kind of method was this? This meant that the other party was probably already at the level of an Earth immortal. Moreover, he wanted everyone to become an Earth immortal. Others might not know, but Xia Qinyu knew very well that their Xia family had an Earth immortal. Back then, when their Xia family was at its peak, this Earth immortal was at his peak. Back then, the Earth immortal led their Xia family out of the Nine Nether and fought in the myriad worlds, wanting to sweep everything and become the overlord. Back then, the goal of the Earth immortal was only to become the overlord, while the goal of the Dizun was for everyone to become immortals. The gap between the two was like the difference between clouds and mud. One could imagine how powerful this Dizun was. He was definitely far stronger than their patriarch. The demon immortal's face became even more ugly, as if he had eaten a dead fly. He couldn't speak of his bitterness. Damn brat, how dare you trick me? He was so angry that his whole body trembled. To be honest, swearing not to kill the other party was nothing in the eyes of the demon immortal. However, offending the Yuhua immortal dynasty made him feel uneasy, especially when he offended the founder of the Yuhua immortal dynasty, the Dizun. How about it? Are you afraid? Lin Xian smiled. If you are afraid, then kneel down and kowtow to beg for mercy. You are courting death, brat. I won't let you go. The demon immortal was completely enraged. The killing intent on his body continued to spread. This time, he was going to use his ultimate technique. Run. The faces of the other great emperors also changed drastically. Under this attack, everything around them would probably turn into ashes. Old thing, I won't play with you anymore. Lin Xian coldly snorted. He threw out the heaven and earth ring and hit the immortal pagoda, causing it to shake violently. Countless streams of immortal qi flew out from within, piercing through the heavens and earth. In an instant, the entire space began to crumble. As for Lin Xian, he took the opportunity to quickly escape. He waved his hand and received the universe ring. Then he flew into the distance. Then he said to Xue Qi and the others, "Don't worry about me." Now, there was no way to meet up at all, because the surroundings were collapsing as if the world was about to be destroyed. The few great emperors were too slow, and their bodies were instantly torn apart as they coughed out blood. As for those below the great emperor realm, their bodies and souls would be destroyed. It was too scary. These immortal pagodas were struck with destructive power. Even the demon immortals had to dodge continuously. Damn it. Be suppressed. He went crazy and began to seal the fortune immortal pond. If the immortal pagoda ran away, it would be troublesome. Therefore, he no longer cared about killing Lin Xian and the others. He looked into the distance and said, "Kid, I'll remember you. You can't escape. Soon, I'll come out and rule the 9 Serenities continent. I'll find you and destroy your soul." Seal. The demon immortal began to seal the entire world with his own power. Oh no, we can't escape. We can't get out. Some of the great emperors were terrified. The Xia family members were also in despair. After Xia Qinyu finished his exercise, he said, "Break." He crazily tore apart the void. On the other side, Xue Qi and the others also felt a sealing power pressing down from the sky. They tried their best to resist, but the power was too strong. Fortunately, Lin Xian arrived at this moment. He activated the power of the great dragon sword with all his might, making it invincible. He tore open the void and took them away. Boom. In the land of buried bones, a lake was stirred up. Then, the lake broke open. A beam of sword energy shot into the sky like a sword god. It was Lin Xian and the others. After they came out, they streaked across the sky like a beam of light and disappeared into the distance. Lin Xian and the others didn't breathe a sigh of relief until they left the land of buried bones. Fortunately, the demon immortal didn't chase them. They weren't in danger for the time being. However, they couldn't be careless. The demon immortal was now forced by the immortal pagoda's power. Once it completely stabilized, it could really sweep across the Nine Serenities continent. At that time, they would be in danger. Lin Xian said, "It's time to go back." He had achieved 2 goals in coming to the Nine Serenities continent. First, Xia Jiuyo had become a great emperor. Second, his immortal chi seed had reached the peak, so he could go back. He could open the Nine Serenities continent and let others in. He was really going to open it. The corpse emperor gasped when he heard this. No one had been able to open the Nine Serenities continent for millions of years. Now, was it finally going to open again? This time, countless experts from all over the heavens and realms would arrive at the heavens and earth. A storm would rise, and countless battles would break out. Xia Jiuyo and the others were excited. Just as they were preparing, Lin Xian's expression changed. He said, "Oh no, let's go. Someone is coming." They quickly left. Not long after they left, many figures appeared, blotting out the sky and covering the earth. Among them, there were many great emperors. They spread out in all directions and began to search. If Lin Xian were here, he would be shocked, because there were people from the Xia clan, the Dark Cloud clan, the Wind, Fire, Thunder, and Lightning clans, and the Netherwater clan. These were the great emperors from the clans who explored the creation immortal pool with him. But now they were frantically searching for him. Were they searching for him? Lin Xian didn't know that after he left, the creation immortal pool changed again. Apart from a few who managed to escape, the rest were all sealed by the sealing power of the demonic immortal. Among them, the Xia clan's grand elder didn't escape. The other great emperors didn't escape either. But Zhulong, Xia Qianyu, and the others escaped. The great emperors were terrified. They looked at the demon immortal and said, "Senior, please spare us. Senior, we don't know that kid. What he did has nothing to do with us." The demon immortal's face was ferocious. He was angry now. How could he be kind? He said, "You dare to have the idea of building the immortal pool? You deserve to die. Senior, please spare us. We are willing to serve you. Senior, aren't you going to the 9th underworld to rule the world? We are willing to follow you." The great emperors had no choice. Although they were high and mighty and stood above everything, they were still no match for the demon immortals. It was easy for the demon immortal to kill them. He could even destroy their souls. It wasn't easy for these great emperors to cultivate until now. No one wanted to die. Follow me? Fine. I'll fulfill your wish. The demon immortal waved his sleeve and shot out countless demon Dao runes. They poured into these people's foreheads. Not only the great emperors, but also the sects and clans below the great emperors. These people had painful expressions on their faces. Soon, their souls were being controlled. "Greetings, demon immortal." These people all knelt on the ground with respectful expressions. Go find that kid. Find him and bring him back. I will reward you." Chapter 6077. These people were all controlled by the demonic immortal to chase after Lin Xian. The demonic immortal swore that he would not let Lin Xian escape. As for him, he stayed here to stabilize the creation celestial pool. Next, he was going to reappear. Very soon, the 9th underworld would become his possession. Lin Xian and the others were carefully hiding, afraid that they would be discovered by the demonic immortal. At the same time, they were preparing to find a place to settle down. Then they would open the 9 nether and let the people outside in. It had been some time since Lin Xian and the others entered the 9 nether. When they entered, they had attacked the Xia family's branch. Not only that, Xue Qi also sent 2 people from the 9 nether flying. Later, these 2 people also stayed on the 18th level of hell. This matter also spread out. Not long after, the people from the Permitha realm came. When the emperors from the Permitha realm learned about the situation, they were shocked. The Nine Nether had opened? How was that possible? The people from the Supreme Palace also came. They couldn't believe it either. It opened and closed in an instant. Damn it, what was going on? No, they had to investigate carefully. They all sent out emperors to investigate. However, they found that they couldn't find the reason. It seemed that they could only invite more powerful people. The Permitha realm went back to report to the Essence Immortal and Master Rashi. They wanted to invite the Land Immortal to help. The people from the Supreme Palace also prepared to ask the Grim Reaper to help. After the Land Immortal learned about it, he prepared to come and investigate. On the Divine Realm's side, Lin Zhan and the others were attacking Shangqing City and couldn't divert their attention. Therefore, they asked the people from the Heavenly Court to investigate the situation. Why hadn't there been any news from Lin Xian and the others for so long? The Heavenly Court's Black Mountain and the North Demon led a group of people to investigate. After learning about the situation, they were also surprised. What was going on? Lin Xian had entered the Nine Nether, but why couldn't the others enter? Damn it. The Permitha realm and the Supreme Palace were going to send Land Immortals to investigate. The situation was not good. The North Demon said, "Master, what should we do? Land Immortals, we can't resist them." "Don't worry, disciple." Black Mountain's eyes flashed with a cold light. "Do you really think that we don't have Earth Immortals? Let's go. I'll go get someone." No, it was to invite God. "We also have Land Immortals on our side." Northern Demon was stunned. In the next moment, he followed Black Mountain and flew into the distance. Black Mountain brought him to the Extreme Tao world. This was a world formed by extreme Tao weapons. Lin Xian and the others had been there before. After entering the Extreme Tao world, the North Demon was surprised. "There's a Land Immortal here?" "Of course there was," Black Mountain said. Then they quickly flew to the Three Stars Cave. In the cave of the Slanting Moon and Three Stars, there was a group of spirit monkeys. When they saw Northern Demon and Black Mountain, they looked as though they were facing a great enemy. The auras of these two people were too powerful. Black Mountain said, "Don't be afraid. I mean no harm. We are here to see a senior." After saying that, he took out a treasure box and carefully opened it. Inside the treasure box was actually a strand of monkey hair. This monkey hair possessed an incomparably mysterious power. It caused the surrounding spirit monkeys in the cave of the Slanting Moon and Three Stars to prostrate themselves. It was the aura of the old ancestor. These people were here to meet the old ancestor. "Please." They respectfully invited Black Mountain and the North Demon into the cave of the Slanting Moon and Three Stars. The cave of the Slanting Moon and Three Stars was extremely mysterious. Lin Xian had also been here before. There was a Bodhi tree here, and under the tree was a stone monkey. And further inside, there was a dragon mountain formed by a giant dragon. On the mountain was a man in white, sleeping soundly. After Lin Xian left, someone else had come to this place, and that was Sun Qiqian. At this moment, Sun Qiqian was still cultivating here. Hearing that someone had come, Sun Qiqian opened his eyes and shouted coldly, "Who is it?" The next moment, he saw Black Mountain and the North Demon walk in. "It's you." Sun Qiqian was surprised. He naturally recognized them. These were all Lin Xian's friends. Black Mountain said, "We are here to invite the fighting god. You are looking for my father." Sun Qiqian was also very surprised. "What's the matter?" "My father is cultivating." Black Mountain sighed. The matter was extremely urgent. The 9 Serenities was about to open. Moreover, some Land Immortals were about to come out. "So, we want to invite the fighting god." Next, he told them about the matter. After hearing this, Sun Qiqian exclaimed, "Lin Xian, that kid has entered the 9 Serenities. Well, it seems that this matter can only be handled by my father." Sun Qiqian looked ahead. Black Mountain and the North Demon also took a deep breath and walked over. They bowed respectfully. Greetings, fighting god. In front of them, the stone monkey that had been sleeping was the fighting god. In the battle back then, the fighting god had once fought with Master Rashi of the Nirvana realm and seriously injured him. The other party had been sleeping for countless years and had only recently woken up. Now, Master Rashi and his group were preparing to go to the 9 Serenities. Thinking of this, Black Mountain took out the monkey hair and said, "This matter is urgent. Senior, please take action." The monkey hair floated up and bloomed in the air. Finally, the stone monkey in front of them shook, and endless dust flew. The stone monkey slowly opened its eyes. It was a pair of golden eyes that seemed to be able to see through everything. At this moment, everyone in the heavens and the underworld were terrified. On the hidden Emperor's star, countless people from the families and sects felt their hair stand on end. What's going on? Why do I feel that my soul seems to be seen through? Heavens, has someone incredible appeared? Thunder rumbled in the 9 Serenities, and ghosts and gods were shocked. The fighting god's gaze created countless illusions. In the cave of the slanting moon and 3 stars, Sun Qiqian also exclaimed, "Father, you're awake. Is it time to fight again?" The fighting god was indeed born for battle. As soon as he opened his eyes, his words were shocking. "Don't worry, I will only take action." "Thank you, Senior." Black Mountain and the North Demon thanked him, and then turned to leave. Although the fighting god had awakened, he had no intention of taking action. He was still sitting there cross-legged. Only a pair of golden eyes were flickering like divine flames. His gaze looked into the distance, enveloping several worlds. He flew out of the hidden Emperor star and looked at all the worlds in the universe. He saw the deity ground, the 18 levels of hell, and even the heavenly land. At a glance, all the worlds in the universe were in his eyes. Who can be immortal in this vast world? The fighting god sighed. Sun Qiqian was puzzled. "Father, why are you sighing like this? You are already a supreme god. Your lifespan is infinite. You have long been immortal." "No, you still don't understand. It's easy to live forever, but difficult to not die." A sigh sounded in the ears of countless creatures. Sun Qiqian was also stunned. He recalled his father's words, but now he still didn't understand. Perhaps it wasn't until he experienced endless battles that he finally understood these words. After leaving the cave of the slanting moon and 3 stars, the North Demon breathed a sigh of relief. However, Black Mountain shook his head. "No, I'm still worried." The fighting god was breaking through to a new realm. He probably couldn't fight with all his strength. We still have to look for other land immortals. This time, we're going to the Moon God Palace. Above the universe, in the deity ground, there was a mysterious moon palace. Lin Xian had been to this place before. There was the moon god immortal, and the moon god inside. He was almost killed by the moon god. However, he was saved by the moon god immortal later. After Black Mountain and the North Demon arrived at the moon palace, they felt a chill down their spines. There were ancient figures, terrifying shadows, and terrifying remnant souls here. The two didn't dare to be presumptuous. Black Mountain took out a letter and said respectfully, "Please see the moon god immortal." Chapter 6078. A cold voice came from the moon palace. "So, you're from the heavenly court. Come in." After saying that, a 7-colored immortal chi appeared in the sky and surrounded Heishan and his companion. The next moment, the world spun. Black Mountain and the Demon Lord found themselves in a new space. Their surroundings were chaotic, like a small lake in the moon. In front of them was an island in the lake, and there was a beautiful figure standing there. She was dressed in white and looked like she would ascend to heaven at any moment. "Greetings, Moon Immortal." Black Mountain and the Demon Lord bowed and told him what had happened. Moon Immortal said, "Don't worry, I'll do it. Is that Lin Xian you're talking about him?" At this moment, Moon Immortal waved his hand, and a young figure appeared in the void. It was a portrait. Black Mountain looked at it and said, "Yes, it's him. Does his father know about this?" Moon Immortal asked again. "Yes, but the War Emperor is attacking Upper Qingcheng and can't go." "Upper Qingcheng?" Moon Immortal sighed. "He's too stubborn and won't listen to me. Otherwise he wouldn't have died. He wouldn't have to live another life. Maybe he's already an Earth Immortal. Let's not talk about him. I promise you that I'll go." "Thank you, Moon Immortal." Black Mountain heaved a sigh of relief and turned to leave. Just as they were about to leave the Moon Palace, a figure appeared in front of them. The North Demon felt cold all over. He was a quasi-emperor now, but he couldn't fight back in front of this figure. He was dumbfounded. Could it be that Moon Immortal wanted to kill them? Black Mountain's pupils constricted, and he showed an expression worse than crying. "Greetings, Moon Goddess. You came to the Moon Palace to beg another woman. Are you looking down on me?" The Moon Goddess was wearing a green mask that covered half of her face. However, one could still see that she was a peerless beauty. However, the murderous intent on her was too cold. She was like a killing god. This gave Black Mountain a headache. He could only say, "I know that the Moon Goddess has been cultivating, and I dare not disturb her." "Humph, you dare not." The Moon Goddess's eyes flashed. She asked, "What's the matter?" Heishan had no choice but to explain everything. The Moon Goddess was surprised. "Is the ninth serenity about to open?" After being sealed for 1,000,000 years, it was finally reopened. "I remember that there are many good places in the ninth underworld where many treasures are buried. This time, some people will definitely not be able to resist going there. Let me ask you, does the old devil know? You're talking about the Demon Emperor, aren't you? He knows about it too, but he's currently attacking Upper Azure City. That old thing was still in the High Heavens land. Could he succeed this time?" When the Moon Goddess heard the words Demon Emperor, a cold look appeared in her eyes. Then she waved her hand impatiently. "You two can leave." Yes, Black Mountain heaved a sigh of relief. Being with the Moon Goddess was a huge pressure. Wait, at this moment, the Moon Goddess started again. Black Mountain was on the verge of tears. "Moon Goddess, do you have any other orders?" The Moon Goddess said, "I'll take care of the ninth serenity as well." "Thank you." Black Mountain was overjoyed. Moon Goddess snorted, "I'm not helping you. I just don't like hell. How could the assassin organization of the Supreme Palace be more powerful than the human world? Today, I have to show them who's better. Of course, they're no match for you." Black Mountain said from the side, "Heavenly Court, Hell, and the human world. The human world should be the main force." After leaving the Moon Goddess, Black Mountain was drenched in sweat, and the North Demon's face was also pale. He said, "Master, who on earth is this person? It's too scary. Is she the Moon Goddess or the Killing God?" She was both the Moon Goddess and the Killing God. Black Mountain and the North Demon didn't let out a sigh of relief until they had completely left the Moon Palace and the deity ground. Seeing the North Demon's confusion, he said, "In all the worlds, there are 3 holy lands of assassins: Heavenly Court, Hell, and the human world. Heavenly Court is referring to us. Hell was referring to the assassins in the 18 levels of Hell. The human world was established by the Moon Goddess. How could her murderous aura not be powerful? What? The human world was established by the Moon Goddess. The North Demon was stunned. No wonder the murderous aura on her was so strong. But why was she called the Killing God? Why was she called the Moon Goddess? Black Mountain sighed. Because her mother was the Moon Goddess. She had inherited this title. So that's how it is. The North Demon was excited. At the same time, he said, "That Guanghan Immortal, is she also from the divine realm?" Why do I feel that she is very familiar with the Battle Emperor? Black Mountain smiled bitterly. Let's not talk about this. Don't. Master, tell me. The North Demon was very curious. Black Mountain pulled a long face and said, Are you very free? Hurry up and cultivate. Once the Nine Nether opens, there will definitely be countless battles. At that time, our heavenly court will also participate. A few days ago, I opened a passage in the Golden Lion Palace. Why don't you go in and train? No, why don't you go to another palace to train? That fearless lion is too scary. After hearing this, the North Demon's face turned pale. Black Mountain was in a good mood. Let's go. This time, we've invited 3 land immortals. It's enough to fight against everything. Not only Black Mountain, but the supreme palace of the Nirvana realm also began to move. Some land immortals woke up one after another and prepared to go to the Nine Nether. 1,000,000 years ago, there was a great battle in the Nine Nether, and many people died. At the same time, they also unearthed some treasures. However, the battle back then ended too suddenly. The Nine Nether was even sealed for 1,000,000 years. Some of the good things were sealed before they could even take them away. Some of the treasures in their hands even fell inside. Now, after waiting for more than 1,000,000 years, they could finally take them back. Lin Xian didn't know that these land immortals had already started to have ideas about the Nine Nether. Right now, he was quickly shuttling through the Nine Nether, avoiding the pursuit of these people. However, in the end, he was still discovered by someone. The people who discovered them were from the Wind, Fire, Thunder, and Lightning families. The 4 great emperors of the 4 families joined forces. The area they covered was very vast. Therefore, they discovered Lin Xian and the others. The Wind, Fire, Thunder, and Lightning families sealed off this area. The 4 great emperors laughed proudly. Great, I finally found you. Kid, come back with me obediently. You have to know what the consequences of offending a land immortal are. I can only say that you are too stupid. Now, the Corpse Emperor is not with you, and the Nine Nether Beast has also left. The 3 of you are no match for us. Indeed, Lin Xian's team was much smaller than before. After they escaped from the Creation Celestial Pool, the Corpse Emperor had left. He cooperated with Lin Xian because he wanted to enter the Creation Celestial Pool. Now that he couldn't achieve this goal, he could only leave. The Nine Nether Beast was also scared and ran back to its family. Only Xueqi, Xia Jiu, Xia Xingchen, and Butian were left by Lin Xian's side. Therefore, the people of the 4 families were not afraid of the Wind, Fire, Thunder, and Lightning families. Lin Xian also smiled. Only the 4 families. I thought that the demonic immortal had come. If the demonic immortal didn't come, the 4 of you are no match for us. Elder Xia, do it and teach them a lesson. Chapter 6079. Although the enemy was the 4 great emperors Lin Xian and the others were not afraid at all. They were really ignorant ants. The 4 great emperors snorted coldly. Attack! Immortal chi erupted from their bodies, forming a light screen that shrouded the sky and earth. This attack was extremely terrifying. The entire ground instantly cracked and countless mountains and rivers were shattered. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He flicked his finger, and a sword chi flew out. The sword chi was extremely terrifying, as if it was going to tear the universe apart. This sword slashed directly at the 2 great emperors. He wanted to fight against the 2 of them alone. The 2 great emperors were furious. You're courting death. Extremely terrifying killing intent erupted from their eyes. Was the other party looking down on them? Unforgivable. They let out an earth-shattering roar. The 2 of them decided to kill him in one blow. Immortal technique, sky hunting. Immortal technique, Wind City. The 2 attacks were extremely terrifying. Great emperors of the same realm could not withstand them at all. After seeing them, they had to retreat to save their lives. However, Lin Xian did not escape at all. He waved his hand, and the immortal slaying sword appeared in his hand. The long sword hummed, and the man and the sword charged forward. A blinding ray of light, extremely dazzling, flew forward like a divine dragon swinging its tail. Then it collided with the two immortal techniques. It was an earth-shattering attack. The two immortal techniques were torn apart by the sword. The two great emperors also retreated. The two of them were dumbfounded. They did not expect that they would be injured as soon as they exchanged blows with the other party. The other party was only a quasi-emperor. Why? The two of them could not believe it. There was something wrong with his sword. Yes, that's right. Use our extreme weapons. The two great emperors took out their weapons and charged over again. There was something wrong with the sword? Stupid. Lin Xian sneered and let the long sword float in the sky. Then he stretched out his hands. On his left hand, the immortal chi seed spread out. On his right hand, the power of the divine fire seed jumped. Immortal technique, graceful sword. Divine ability, apocalyptic punch. Lin Xian drew the sword with his left hand and punched with his right hand. Two earth-shattering forces erupted. The two emperors went crazy when they saw this scene. How is this possible? You have both the seed of immortal energy and the seed of divine fire. How could you possibly cultivate two types of power? This had completely surpassed their understanding of the world. With a boom, the two of them were sent flying. The body of the person on the left was split in half. The great emperor on the right was smashed into pieces. Shock, incomparable shock. Was the other party's immortal seed even more powerful than their immortal seed? Damn it. The two of them were furious, igniting their immortal energy. The immortal chi on their bodies burst out like a brilliant flame. The two martial monarchs attacked once again. Lin Xian waved his hand and grasped the immortal extermination sword. It's over. A single sword strike shocked the heavens. Like a blazing sun, it cracked open between heaven and earth. After one sword strike, two great emperors had fallen. How could this be? The other two great emperors were fighting Xia Juyo and Xueqi. They hadn't expected that their companions would perish. Damn it! How did this kid do it? Even if he couldn't win against great emperors of the same level, he could still run away. How could they know? The immortal extermination sword had killed immortals before, and this sword strike was Lin Xian's all-out attack. The great dragon sword soul's indestructible power directly extinguished the vitality of the great emperors. After one sword strike, Lin Xian's face turned pale. The great dragon sword soul needed some time to recover and replenish its power. However, Lin Xian didn't plan to let the other two go. He said, After hearing this, Xueqi nodded. She soared into the sky and came to Lin Xian's side. 9 yin and 9 yang fused together. Boom! They attacked the third great emperor. The third great emperor roared, "Kill!" He had a long spear in his hand, and at this moment he stabbed it into the sky. This spear strike was so powerful that it caused the void to shatter continuously, causing countless cracks to appear in the void. The cultivators in the distance were also terrified. The attack of a great emperor was so terrifying. However, under the fusion of the 9 yin and 9 yang, the opponent turned into ashes. He died again. The fourth great emperor was stunned. The first 3 great emperors died in an instant. This strength is too terrifying, isn't it? Is he an earth immortal? Damn it, how can he be so strong? As for the 9 underworlds, 3 thunderous roars rang out from it. A terrifying crack appeared in the sky, as if the sky was torn open. A rain of blood poured down. At this moment, the cultivators in the 9th underworld looked up in horror. Heavens, what happened? Who was the culprit behind the fall of the great emperor? In a certain valley, Xia Qinyu and Zhu Long's scalp went numb when they saw this scene. Could it be that the earth immortal from the fortune celestial pool did it. Otherwise, why would so many great emperors die? There was a loud boom. At this moment, another thunderous sound came, and the fourth rain of blood fell. Another great emperor died. Countless living beings, cultivators, and warriors in the ninth underworld all prostrated themselves on the ground. Millions of families and sects knelt down. Even the great emperors in those families were trembling in fear. After becoming a great emperor, their lifespan would be very long. Although it was not absolute immortality, in the eyes of ordinary people, they had infinite life. It could be said that it was immortality in the eyes of ordinary people. But now, a great emperor had died, and it was the death of 4 great emperors. This was really too much of a challenge to their nerves. In a certain mountain gate, an old man sighed. There was also a trace of immortal chi on his body. He was also a great emperor. However, at this moment, his expression was incomparably lonely. He said, "It's easy to live forever, but difficult to not die." Behind him, a little boy carrying a lantern walked over and said, "Master, it's time for you to take your medicine." The old man coughed twice and then sighed. "Disciple, do you see? Even great emperors don't have true immortality. There are still people who can kill them." The little boy looked up and asked, "Shifu, then how can I live forever?" The old man also stood up and sighed to the sky. "Who in the world can live forever?" "Difficult, difficult, difficult." The old man's expression was incomparably lonely. Finally, he sighed, "Disciple, tomorrow morning you go down the mountain and don't come back for 800 years. "Master," the little boy cried. He knelt on the ground and kowtowed nonstop. Was he not good enough? The old man looked at this scene with heartache, but he still didn't say anything. He had to let this little disciple leave, because he felt that a crisis was coming and a storm was coming. This storm was going to sweep across the 9 Serenities continent. They, the great emperors of the 9 Serenities continent, might not be able to escape. Would they live or die by then? Who knew? If his disciple stayed by his side, he would most likely die. Rather than that, it was better to be cruel and let him leave. Although there were also all kinds of dangers outside, it was much safer than facing that supreme existence. In fact, it wasn't just this old man who had this idea. The other great emperors above the 9 Serenities' great emperor seemed to have the same idea. Among them, in the 9 Serenities land, there was a huge canyon that was bottomless. There was a black palace here, and in the palace there was a middle-aged man in black armor. He also had immortal chi floating on his body. He was also a great emperor. In front of him, there was a black mirror. At this moment, the black-armored great emperor formed a seal with both hands, as if he was deducing something. In the next moment, a crack appeared on the mirror. The great emperor spat out a mouthful of blood, and his body was on the verge of collapse. Father, 2 figures behind him, supported him. They were a man and a woman. They were the prince and princess. No matter where and when they would enjoy endless glory. However, at this moment, the black-armored great emperor said, "I deduced that a crisis is coming, and I don't have the ability to protect you." How could it be? The prince and princess were stunned. Their father was a great emperor, a high and mighty great emperor that countless people looked up to. How could such a person feel defeated and powerless? They wouldn't believe it even if they were beaten to death. However, the great emperor shook his head. He looked at his 2 children and said, "I've prepared 2 godly sources for you. It's enough for you to sleep for 10,000 years. Wake up 10,000 years later. Perhaps you can avoid this storm." Chapter 6080. In front of Lin Xian and the others, the 4 great emperors had already fallen. They all breathed a sigh of relief. "Let's continue on the road and find a place to rest and recover from our injuries." They continued on their journey. 3 days later, they stopped again because they met another team. This time, it was the Xia family. The leader was the Xia family's first elder. The first elder's eyes turned red when he saw Lin Xian. "Kid, I finally found you. Come back with me obediently and wait for the demonic immortal's judgment. Otherwise, you will die without a burial place." "You?" Lin Xian sneered. "You are not qualified to make me do it." He stood in the void with his hands behind his back and had no intention to make a move. Xia Jia walked out and said, "Let me fight this battle." "You?" The first elder of the Xia family looked at Xia Juyo and frowned. "A black-robed man is playing tricks." He waved his hand and grabbed at the front. Behind him, the people who followed him sneered. They knew the first elder's strength very well. How could a black-robed man compare to him? Xia Jia roared and punched out. The two collided and shook the sky and the earth. The expressions of the people at the back changed greatly after they saw it. Their eyes were filled with shock. Is this possible? The first elder's strength was amazing, but he was blocked by the opponent. How terrifying is this person? An expert of the Xia family said. "Don't worry, first elder. It was just a casual attack. Next, the first elder will be serious. That guy will definitely die." Yes, the people around nodded. No one was optimistic about the black-robed man. After all, the first elder had been famous for a long time. "Interesting. It seems that you are also a great emperor, but you are not my opponent at all," the first elder shouted coldly. He formed a seal with his hands, and his white hair fluttered. At this moment, he seemed to have turned into a god. He raised his hand, and a big seal flew out, the Juyo seal. The people behind him cheered when they saw the Xia family's unique skill. They knew that this battle was over. No one could resist the Juyo seal. Seeing this, Xia Juyo snorted coldly. "The Juyo seal is not as practical as you." He unleashed his 9 underworld's body and also formed hand seals with his palms. Then he slapped out. A black handprint was formed in front of him, and an incomparably terrifying aura burst forth from it. Everywhere it passed, the heavens collapsed, and the earth cracked. Even the stars in the 9 heavens shook. Then the two of them collided, causing the heavens to collapse and the earth to split. With a boom, the Grand Elder was forced back, his blood and chi roiling. He was dumbfounded. The next moment, he roared, "Impossible! How can you have the 9 nether seal? Who are you? You actually dared to steal my Xia family's secret technique." He had really gone crazy. The people behind him were also dumbfounded. No way! The Great Elder was actually forced to retreat. It was too unbelievable. Damn it! Who exactly is this black-robed man? Why was it so strange? On the other side, Lin Xian's lips curled up as he watched this scene. Let's fight. The people of the Xia family would soon be shocked, because Xia Juyo had already become a great emperor. Coupled with the 9 underworld's body, this kind of secret technique in the starry sky, his strength far surpassed everything. It was not something the Xia family could imagine. At least, Lin Xian could see that the Xia family's Grand Elder was no match for him. You're just SOL. In front of him, Xia Juyo said coldly, "You're courting death." 9 Underworld Song. The Great Elder roared as he activated another of the Xia clan's ultimate techniques. A terrifying sound seemed to come from the 9 Underworld's hell. It was wailing like ghosts and howling like wolves, making one's scalp tingle. The surrounding people trembled in fear. Even the soul of a great emperor would not be able to withstand such an attack. The black-robed man in front of them was doomed this time. But soon, they were dumbfounded, because the black-robed man in front of them also roared 9 Underworld Song. A vortex door seemed to have opened on his body. From inside, an even more terrifying sound came out. It was like the sigh of a ghost. The 9 Underworld Song fought against the 9 Underworld Song. The two collided, causing the heavens to collapse and the earth to split. The Grand Elder was forced to retreat again. He was going crazy. You know the 9 Underworld song too? Who are you? You're from the Xia family. He seemed to have thought of something, because he found that not only did the other party know the Xia family's secret technique, but the power was also stronger than his. Impossible! Although the Grand Elder was not the strongest in the Xia family, he was still at the top. Apart from the patriarch Xia Qinyu, he could be ranked in the top 5 among these elders. There were not many who could defeat him. However, this black-robed man was stronger than him. Who was he? He really couldn't figure it out, because there was no such person in the family. Fine, I'll let you know who I am. Xia Jiu took a deep breath, and a cold light burst out from his eyes. Then he activated the 9 Underworld song to the extreme. The whole universe was trembling, and endless cracks spread. Everyone was terrified. They felt that the power of the entire 9 Underworld song was boiling. It gathered toward the other party. What was going on? What kind of bloodline did this guy have? Everyone went crazy. As for the Grand Elder, he was even more dumbfounded. His body trembled. You are. He was so shocked that he couldn't speak. Was this that physique? Why did it appear here? Wasn't this physique said to be in the outside universe? You have the 9 Underworld's physique. Finally, he roared, how did you enter the 9 Underworld songs? Hearing this, the people behind him sucked in a breath of cold air. 9 Nether physique. Legend had it that the Xia family had a very terrifying physique. It was a super strong physique, in all the worlds. It was called the 9 Underworlds physique. Every 9 Underworlds physique was extremely terrifying. It was said that the Earth Immortal of the Xia family back then had the 9 Underworlds physique. In addition, there had been a few 9 Underworlds physiques in the Xia family. However, a few of them had fallen in the battle. Now, another one had appeared, and as soon as it appeared, it was a great emperor. It was too unbelievable. What was even more shocking was that this 9 Underworlds physique was actually hostile to the Xia family. That's right. Xia Jiu tore open his black robe and said, I have the 9 Underworlds physique. I didn't expect it to really be you. The Great Elder roared crazily. Everyone attacked together and catch him. This was really an unexpected surprise. Not only could they catch Lin Xian, but they could also catch the 9 Underworlds physique. If they caught him, the Xia family would have new hope. After hearing this, the people behind them all attacked. In addition to Xia Jiu, there were 2 other great emperors who had been watching the battle. At this moment, they also rushed over recklessly. Let's go. Lin Xian and Xue Qi joined forces, fusing the 9 yin and 9 yang. Since Xia Jiu had revealed the 9 Underworlds physique, it meant that the battle was about to begin. They wouldn't let anyone escape, including the Great Elder of the Xia family. The great battle broke out in an instant. It was earth-shattering and extremely terrifying. Xia Jiu was still fighting one-on-one with the Great Elder. A black hole appeared between the 2 of them. The others couldn't get close at all. Lin Xian and Xue Qi joined forces and punched out. Instantly, the enemies fell in droves. They were crazy. They were too powerful. Stop them. The 2 of them joined forces. The 2 great emperors rushed over crazily. Cold and sharp battle suits appeared on their bodies. The 2 battle suits were extremely powerful. They could actually block some of the power of the 9 yin and 9 yang. These 2 battle suits should be extreme-grade weapons. They had extremely strong defense. Lin Xian sneered. He waved his hand and took out a fragment. Chapter 6081. This fragment was only the size of a palm, but there were extremely terrifying patterns on it, as if it was a fragment of a weapon. Lin Xian's right eye, Rinnegan, opened, blooming with light, and a cold voice sounded. He summoned the reincarnation sword. That's right, this fragment was the fragment of the reincarnation sword. Previously, Lin Xian's Rinnegan could already summon the phantom of the Thunder Soul Sword. Coupled with the fragment of the Reincarnation Sword, the power was even more terrifying. Between heaven and earth, a sword shadow that reached the sky appeared. There was the power of the 6 paths of reincarnation floating above the sky. Everyone looked up in horror. They were dumbfounded. No, what kind of power was this? 6 paths of reincarnation. He actually had this kind of power. Damn it, run. Countless exclamations sounded. Some people even roared. Could it be the legendary reincarnation sword? Damn it, one of the 5 swords in the world. Who was he? How did he get these things? Many people recognized the sword shadow and were scared out of their wits. Even the 2 martial monarchs turned around and fled in terror. Lin Xian waved his hand, and the phantom of the reincarnation sword fell. The fragment of the reincarnation sword merged with the phantom, and a sword reincarnated. The front was completely covered by the sword shadow, and the 6 worlds were connected. Countless miserable screams rang out. These people's souls were sucked in and completely disappeared. After a single sword strike, those people all dissipated. One great emperor fell, and the other great emperor's armor was broken, and he vomited blood. He fell to the ground. Although he didn't die, he was seriously injured. It was impossible for him to escape. Who are you? Who are you? This great emperor looked at Lin Xian and kept roaring. Lin Xian pulled out the immortal slaying sword and said coldly, I am Lin Wudi. As soon as his voice fell, the long sword stabbed out, and the great emperor fell. His pupils dilated. 2 great emperors fell, and the vision of heaven and earth appeared again. Blood rain fell, covering Jiuyou. On the other side, the great elder who was fighting with Xia, Jiuyou felt his scalp tingle. This person actually had the Rinnegan. Not good. Run. He turned and fled. Help Elder Xia. Don't let the enemy leave. Understood. Xueqi nodded. She waved her hand, and the 9 nether sword appeared in her hand. She also unleashed her 9 body to its pinnacle. Lin Xian knew that Xia Jiuyou was powerful and could defeat the first elder. However, it would not be easy to kill the first elder. After all, killing a great emperor at the same level required an extremely powerful trump card. Xueqi still had the 9 nether sword in her hands, and if she cooperated with the 2 of them, she could kill the great elder. Sure enough, when the 9 nether sword appeared, head elder's soul scattered. In the end, he shouted in despair, You even have the 9 nether sword? These people are too terrifying. The great dragon sword, the Samsara sword, and the 9 nether sword all had the terrifying starry sky body. With such a group of people gathered together, even if an expert with 2 strands of immortal chi were to appear, the other party would still have nothing to fear. A 3rd rain of blood fell from the torn hole in the sky. Lin Xian and the others took a deep breath and said, We must open the 9 serenities as soon as possible. By now, they had already killed 7 great emperors. Above the 9 underworlds, strange phenomena could be seen everywhere. If they did not leave now, their own experts might not be able to take it anymore. They might chase after them crazily. They had to borrow the power of the outside world again. At the thought of this, Lin Xian and the others quickly left. Bu Tian said, Let's go to the 9th summit. My grandfather set up the Heavenly Master Array there back then. It should still be usable. All right, let's go to the 9th summit. Lin Xian and the others changed their direction and headed to the 9th summit. In the 9 serenities, countless people knelt down again. Heavens, a few days ago, for great emperors had fallen, and strange phenomena could be seen everywhere. Before they could react, another 3 great emperors had fallen. In just a month, 7 great emperors had fallen. It was really unbelievable. One had to know that 7 great emperors might not have fallen in 100,000 years, but in a month it had happened one after another. What was going on? Was a peerless killing god coming? Were they all dead? In the creation celestial pool, the demonic immortal frowned. He could feel that 7 of the demonic Tao runes he had left in the bodies of those great emperors had disappeared. What a bunch of trash. Come here. The demonic immortal formed a seal with his palm and stretched out his hand. A figure half knelt on the ground. He said, "Greetings, demonic immortal." The demonic immortal's eyes shone with a cold light. He said, "Make your move. You're a powerhouse with 2 strands of immortal chi. You won't die. You must bring that kid to me. Do you hear me?" The figure stood up, turned around, and soared into the sky. There were 2 strands of immortal chi on him. If Lin Xian and the others were here, they would definitely recognize him. This person was Xia Kuangshi. He was also the powerhouse of the Xia family, who had been beaten into the lake by them. When he entered the lake, he didn't die. He was just shrouded by the power of silence and fell to the bottom of the lake. Then he was discovered by the demonic immortal. Then the demonic immortal controlled him. This was an extremely powerful great emperor. After all, 2 strands of immortal chi far surpassed everything. It was far from what the great elder and the others could compare to. Xia Kuangsha left the creation celestial pool and set off quickly. He came to the place where the great elder and the others were killed. His expression was extremely cold. With a wave of his hand, he began to collect the auras of Lin Xian and the others. Then he looked into the distance and sensed it. He tore open the void and continued to chase. After Lin Xian and the others returned to the 9th summit, they began to set up the array formation. Bu Tian entered the palace of the 9th summit and began to search. Soon, he activated the array formation. The entire 9th summit shook violently. A terrifying array formation appeared in the surroundings. Clouds and mist filled the air, forming a sea of clouds. Great, the array formation was activated. Bu Tian heaved a sigh of relief. The array formation was set up by his grandfather back then. His grandfather was a heavenly master. Although he became delirious later on, when he was awake back then, he had also set up a great array formation. The Sea of Clouds array. Lin Xian and the others felt the power of the Sea of Clouds array and heaved a sigh of relief. With this array formation, even if a super great emperor with 2 strands of immortal chi came, it would be able to resist for a while. There's no time to lose. Elder Xia, let's move. Xia Jiu nodded and said, "I need Xue Qi's help. You have to send me back to the universe first." "Why?" Lin Xian said. "Can't you open it here?" Xia Jiu said, "No. The moment I became a great emperor, I sensed that with my physique, I could open the 9 underworlds. However, it must be opened from the outside. Husband, don't worry. My 9 underworlds sword can send Elder Xia out." Lin Xian nodded. It was really dangerous. If they didn't have the 9 underworld sword, they really wouldn't be able to open the 9 underworlds. All right, let's begin. Xue Qi took out the 9 underworld sword. Her eyes became sharp as she unleashed her power to the extreme. She stabbed the sword into the void, and a spatial passageway immediately appeared. "All right, Elder Xia, you can go." Xia Jiu nodded and dashed outside with a flash of his body. "Grandpa," Xia Xingchen exclaimed. Lin Xian said, "Xingchen, you stay here. I'll go out with Elder Xia. I'll leave this place to you. Don't worry, husband." After saying that, Lin Xian's figure flashed and entered the spatial passageway. In the next moment, the sky and earth spun. Lin Xian discovered that he had arrived at the 17th level of hell. Chapter 6082. The 17th level of hell, where the Xia family's branch was located. On this day, a black vortex appeared in the sky again. 2 figures walked out of the vortex. Seeing this scene, the Xia family's branch was shocked. The other 2 were also dumbfounded. These 2 came out of the Juyo land. Last time, when they escaped, they had experienced such a whirlpool. Now that such a vortex had appeared again, how could they not be excited? Great, it appeared again. We can finally go back. Kill our way back. These people roared crazily. Disregarding everything else, they soared into the sky and directly flew toward the enormous vortex. Get lost! Get lost! 2 thunderous voices sounded. Then a sword light cut through the sky and earth. There was also a terrifying black palm covering the sky and earth. The 2 experts who were flying over were sent flying. These 2 people's blood stained the sky. One of them was split in half, and the other was beaten into a bloody mist. Miserable cries sounded, and the 2 souls retreated crazily. The Xia family's branch was also shocked. Heavens, are these 2 gods descending? How could they be so terrifying? One should know that the ones who were sent flying were 2 great emperors. Damn it, who is it? The 2 injured great emperors recovered their bodies, and their faces became extremely ugly. The people of hell also looked up. In the next moment, when they saw the 2 figures, they were stunned. It's you. You're the kid from before. And you have the Juyo body. The 2 great emperors roared. The experts of the Xia family's branch were also roaring nonstop. These 2 people had left from this place before. Had they returned now? Xia Juyo, you've become a great emperor? The Xia family's people felt Xia Juyo's aura and were dumbfounded. How long has it been? He's already become a great emperor? That's right. I've become a great emperor. So, you're no match for me at all. Xia Juyo said coldly. The Xia family's branch sneered. That's not necessarily true. This time, it's not just us, there are other Taoists as well. Go and invite the people from the other side. You're courting death. Lin Xian's expression changed. 2 beams of light shot out from his eyes, instantly killing a powerhouse from the Xia clan. Blood stained the sky. The members of the Xia family retreated in fear. How dare he team up with Higan? Damn it! Lin Xian made a powerful move and punched out. The terrifying 9-yang divine body erupted. The 9 suns' godly fist pierced through the heavens and earth, turning many of the Xia clan members into ashes. Run! This is a demon. Fellow Taoist of the Permitha realm, please save us. All sorts of blood-curdling screams could be heard as the Xia family members fled one after another. Lin Xian punched again. It was as if a sun had descended upon the mortal world. However, at this moment, a cold snort came from the sky. Then, a terrifying amount of immortal qi condensed into a shield blocking Lin Xian's fist. With a loud boom, the heavens collapsed and the earth cracked. The shield shook, but Lin Xian's fist was still blocked. Lin Wuti was too arrogant. A cold voice came from the sky. Then a behemoth appeared. It was a figure, but it had 2 wings. It covered the sky and the earth. The feathers on its body were like sharp swords, shining with a cold light. Bayou Land. Lin Xian saw it and sneered. You're no match for me. Is that so? If he's no match for you, then what about us? After Bayou the Great, a few more figures arrived. There were 7 figures standing between heaven and earth. Each of them had an extremely powerful aura that swept across the area. They were dazzling and high above like immortal kings looking down on all directions. These 7 figures were all great emperors. Moreover, they were all powerhouses of the Permitha realm. And us. On the other side, the Nether Venerable had also arrived. He snorted coldly and also brought 5 people with him. These 5 people were all supremes. The aura on their bodies was extremely cold. The majestic power seemed to have opened the gates of hell. Ha ha! The people of the Xia family branch laughed. Kid, let's see how you're going to die this time. Fellow Taoist, he's Lin Wuti. Kill him. And that old man is Xia Juyo. If you control him, you'll have a chance to open the Juyo land. Is that so? After hearing this, the eyes of the people of the Permitha realm burst out with a cold light. You're Xiajiao, right? I'll give you a chance. Join the Permitha realm, and I'll let you enjoy endless cultivation resources. You might even be able to go further. I refuse. Xia, Geo shook his head. Baiyu, the Great, snorted coldly. Stupid thing. Do you know that you've missed a great opportunity? Going against the Permitha realm is a fate worse than death. Is that so? A fate worse than death? Not necessarily, right? Lin Xian also walked out. He snorted coldly and instantly summoned the great dragon sword soul. The biting cold sword light bloomed between heaven and earth. The incomparably sharp aura made the great emperors frown. This is the great dragon sword, right? Now that they had seen it with their own eyes, it was indeed extraordinary. But, so what? He only used the sword soul. Moreover, how much power could a quasi-emperor exert? The great emperors of the Permitha realm sneered. Is that so? Then feel it. Lin Xian held the great dragon sword in his hand and slashed out. The monstrous sword energy slashed down like a divine sword and hit the sky. With a boom, the great emperor who had mocked him before was sent flying and vomited blood. He was seriously injured. His body was cut in half and couldn't heal. Damn it, how dare you hurt me? He roared crazily. The other people also sucked in a breath of cold air. The power of the great dragon sword was so strong that it shocked them. A mere quasi-emperor could seriously injure them. So what? Nether Prime shouted coldly. This time, we have more than a dozen great emperors. Can't we kill him? No matter how strong he is, he can't resist. Hearing this, Lin Xian waved his hand, and another sword energy fragment appeared. The power of the 6 paths of reincarnation swept out. Those supremes were terrified. This is the power of reincarnation. Don't let your soul be surrounded by it. Lin Xian used the reincarnation sword fragment to strike out the reincarnation sword and slash forward. After Nether Prime was injured, he almost lost half of his life. He was so scared that he trembled all over. Lin Xian laughed. You think you can defeat me? Come at me together. Lin Xian's eyes burst out with extreme madness. The great dragon sword soul in his right hand and the reincarnation sword Qi in his left hand. 2 of the 5 swords of the world appeared on his body at the same time. This scene was extremely shocking. The surrounding great emperors were all silent. Their expressions turned incomparably ugly. Great Emperor Baiyu said, "Don't fight him head-on. This kid is very strange. Ancestor, please make a move." That's right. Another great emperor also nodded. In order to avoid trouble, let's hurry up and ask the ancestor. After that, the people of the other side bowed, respectfully. Ancestor, please make a move. Has the target discovered it? An old voice sounded between heaven and earth. Then, a figure cut through the void of the universe. Everyone in the universe could sense the arrival of a terrifying aura. Those powerhouses in the universe all knelt on the ground. What a terrifying power. Is this the arrival of an immortal? There are really immortals in the world. Countless people looked up. They saw a behemoth crossing the universe. Chapter 6083. Hell. In the incomparably cold, starry sky, countless white-bone, resentful spirits were crawling on the ground at this moment. Heavens, what kind of aura is this? They saw that the surrounding earth was cracking, the sky was shattering, and a figure that looked like an ancient mountain was descending. They had seen an immortal before. Some of the great emperors in hell bowed. When the others heard this, they gasped. An immortal had a character of such a level descended? Was this an existence in myths and legends? The terrifying power was still spreading from the first level of hell all the way down. Not long after, they arrived at the 17th level of hell. On the 17th level, the void was completely shattered, turning into nothingness. More than a dozen great emperors bowed respectfully to the void. The people of the Xia family's branch felt their scalps go numb as they knelt on the ground. They didn't dare to offend such a figure at all. Xia Jiuyo's expression changed. Oh no, it's an immortal. An earth immortal. Previously, when they were in the creation celestial pool, they had met a demonic immortal whose strength was terrifying and unparalleled. Killing a great emperor was as easy as snapping a finger. They couldn't resist such a person at all. Even if they risked their lives, they weren't qualified. Lin Xian's eyebrows were tightly knitted together as well. He could also sense the impending danger. Was another immortal descending upon them? It was really a headache. Last time, he relied on the power of the immortal tower to escape the pursuit of the demonic immortal. What about this time? He clenched his fists and quickly probed the things inside the sword world. There was also an emperor bone and the longevity lamp. It seemed that he could only risk his life. Lin Xian clenched the great dragon sword so tightly, the behemoth in the sky descended. Only then did everyone realize that it was a tortoise. It had a huge body and an old face. No one knew how many tens of thousands of years it had lived. It was Master Rashi of the Permethar realm. After he arrived, he lowered his head and looked down. Soon, he stared at Lin Xian. Great dragon sword, reincarnation sword. You're the young man who went against the Permethar realm, right? You're really talented. You can actually get 2 of the 5 swords in the world. But unfortunately, they're all broken. What's more, you're just a quasi-emperor. Kneel down and hand the 2 items to Higgin. Then I'll give you a quick death. Lin Wudi, kneel down and greet the immortal. Immortal is not someone you can offend. So, what if he was an immortal? It's not like I haven't seen it before. I even walked out of the immortal realm alive. Why couldn't he offend him? The other emperors sneered after hearing that. You survived from immortal? Are you kidding me? Immortal, 1 look is enough to kill you. Master Rashi also snorted coldly. He's really arrogant. After saying that, he exhaled. A wisp of immortal chi lunged forward like a peerless killing intent. Xia Jiu felt as if he was struck by lightning. Lin Xian's face was also pale. His body was about to crack. It had to be said that Master Rashi was really terrifying. A single breath of his seemed to be able to kill countless great emperors. At this critical moment, Lin Xian roared. The great dragon sword spirit circled around his body, emitting a peerless aura. At the same time, he did not dare to be careless. He immediately took out a skeleton and floated in front of him. The skeleton was obtained from the Soul Emperor. This skeleton was different from the one in the stone coffin. The one in the stone coffin was very quiet. However, this skeleton emitted a trace of light. He blocked this wisp of immortal chi. Even on the skeleton, a mysterious pattern erupted and spread all over the surroundings. He actually blocked it. The surrounding great emperors were dumbfounded. It was too unbelievable. How did the other party do it? Even if the other party had the great dragon sword spirit, he might not be able to block it, right? Because the other party was only a quasi-emperor. He could not unleash the full power of the great dragon sword spirit. The immortal was also stunned. He realized that it was not the power of the great dragon sword spirit, nor the power of the reincarnation sword. It was a bone. A small bone could block his breath of immortal chi. His face darkened. It seemed that it should be the bone of a supreme expert. It blocked this attack. Lin Xian breathed a sigh of relief, as expected of the ancient Emperor Zun. However, the crisis was not resolved. It only blocked the other party's breath. If the other party moved his claws, they probably wouldn't be able to block it. Lin Xian said to Xia Jiu, Elder Xia, find a chance to escape. Follow me closely. If you really can't, I'll take you to a strange place. Yes, Xia Jiu nodded, his face incomparably cold. He didn't expect to meet an Earth immortal as soon as he came out. It seemed that he had no choice but to run away. At this moment, a spatial door appeared in the sky. Soon after, two figures walked out from inside. Who came at this time? Could it be that the people from the god realm had come? The people from the other world, Heavenly King frowned. The god realm was their archenemy. Great, there was hope. Lin Xian and the others were also happy. Everyone looked at the spatial door. However, when they saw the two figures, everyone was stunned. Even Lin Xian was dumbfounded. Black Mountain and the North Demon. That's right, it was these two who had come. After Black Mountain came, he said with a smile, "Boy, it seems that I'm not late. What are you two doing here? Hurry up and leave. You're no match for them. Go and call Lord Jiu and my father." As soon as he finished speaking, Black Mountain had already arrived. Not only did he not escape, but he came to Lin Xian's side and said, "Your father and the others are very busy. They don't have time now. I'll help you." You? Xia Jiu was also stunned. On the other side, Great Emperor Baiyu laughed out loud. "I'm dying of laughter. Is there no one else in the god realm? They actually sent two quasi-emperors here. That's right, whether it was Black Mountain or the North Demon, they were only quasi-emperors. They weren't even great emperors. How could they compete with them? Not to mention, they had Master Rashi on their side. Two little ants? I'm not interested anymore. I'll kill you directly." Master Rashi raised his claws and slapped forward. "Not good. Retreat quickly," Xia Jiu exclaimed. Lin Xian's expression changed drastically. He controlled the Emperor Bone tightly and quickly retreated with the others. At the same time, he said, "Are you here to die?" Black Mountain smiled. "Don't worry, I'm here with reinforcements." After that, he bowed with both hands. "Fairy, please help. Is there anyone else?" Seeing Black Mountain's action, the surrounding great emperors were all stunned. Master Rashi snorted coldly, pretending to be mysterious. Who can save them? Was there anyone who could be compared to him? Even if the other party had a magical bone in his hand. So, what? Even if the other party had the dragon sword soul and the reincarnation sword fragment. So what? In the face of absolute strength, these things were not enough. Although he couldn't shatter the dragon sword soul or destroy the bone. However, killing these ants was as easy as flipping one's hand. Great, it's over. Great Emperor Baiyu, Nether Venerable, and the others all sneered when they saw this scene. In their opinion, no one could resist Master Rashi's attack. Xia Jiu was also in despair. Am I going to die? He had just become a great emperor. He was unwilling to accept this. In the nick of time, the void was torn apart as a pure white palm tore through the sky. It attacked Master Rashi in front of it. With a boom, it collided with Master Rashi's claws. Chapter 6084. In the sky, a white jade palm suddenly appeared and collided with Master Rashi's claws. In an instant, countless terrifying cracks appeared in the sky. There were even countless stars that were shattered into pieces. The attack was so powerful that it tore a rift in the 18 hells. Many of the creatures inside had been reduced to ashes. Xia Jiu opened her eyes and exclaimed, "Not dead." Lin Xian was also surprised. This palm is so terrifying. Is another Earth immortal coming? Who is it? He looked at Black Mountain. Black Mountain smiled. "You're finally here. Damn it, who is it? Who dares to fight against me?" Master Rashi let out an angry roar. He had attacked twice, but failed to kill a few little ants. He was ashamed. He roared crazily, and another stream of immortal energy surged and turned into a bolt of lightning. It could even split the sky open. He charged over. However, in the sky, a seven-colored light hung down and turned into a sky curtain, blocking the lightning. "So what if you're an immortal?" A cold voice sounded, and a white-clothed figure appeared between heaven and earth. Her face was extremely beautiful, and her body carried an ethereal aura as if she would become an immortal at any time. It was her. When Lin Xian saw this figure, he was stunned. He knew this person. The surrounding great emperors felt their scalps go numb because this newly appeared woman in white also carried an extremely terrifying aura. It was an aura that surpassed the great emperors and was similar to Master Rashi's aura. This was an immortal. Has another Earth immortal appeared? It was unbelievable. Damn it. Is she from the divine realm? They gritted their teeth. They didn't expect that at this critical moment, an expert from the divine realm would come. After Master Rashi saw it, his pupils constricted and his face darkened. "Wang Han Immortal, it's you. You actually want to help them. Do you know that they are from the divine realm?" "I know. I'm here to save their lives." "Leave. With me here, you can't kill them." The Guanghan Immortal came to Lin Xian and the others and said indifferently. Lin Xian and the others also bowed. "Greetings, Senior." The Moon Immortal turned to look at Lin Xian and nodded slightly. "Little guy, we meet again." "That's great." Lin Xian and the rest laughed. With this land immortal around, their lives were no longer in danger. Master Rashi's face turned ugly. He roared angrily, "Do you know what you're talking about? Do you want to go against Higgin?" The Guanghan Immortal shook his head. "To be honest, I don't want to be your enemy, but I can't let you hurt them." Wishful thinking. Master Rashi roared and attacked again. His massive body came crashing down, shattering the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Hell had been torn apart, and the Xia clan had long since fled. Those that did not manage to escape were reduced to a bloody mist by this power. It wasn't just the people in the 17th level of hell who were fleeing. There was nothing he could do about it. 2 immortals were fighting, and the destruction they caused was too terrifying. At this moment, even the great emperors had fled. Only the Higgin Immortal and the Supreme Palace were still there. Facing Master Rashi's attack, the Guanghan Immortal sighed and waved her hand. A treasure tree that shone with 7-colored light appeared in her hand. With a gentle sweep, the 7-colored immortal light swept across the 9 heavens. The 2 fought fiercely. "It's useless. Master Rashi, we're in the same realm. It's very difficult to determine the winner. You can't keep me here, and you can't hurt them." "Stop. Don't waste your strength." "Damn it." Master Rashi gritted his teeth. Indeed, he couldn't defeat the Guanghan Immortal in a short period of time. However, how could he let the other party leave? This time, he had come under orders. If he left like this, he wouldn't be able to explain himself. Thinking of this, he turned his head and said to the people of the Supreme Palace, "What? Don't tell me the Supreme Palace doesn't plan to make a move? Where's the Grim Reaper? Tell him to get over here." Netherworld's sovereign and the others were so scared that their scalps went numb. They hurriedly sent a message. A crack appeared on their backs. A death scythe appeared. Following it, a figure surrounded by a deathly aura walked out. This figure was extremely tall. As soon as he appeared, the aura of death spread in all directions. It turned everything into azure hell. He was the Grim Reaper. "Greetings, Lord Grim Reaper." Netherworld sovereign and the others quickly knelt down and bowed. After the Grim Reaper arrived, they stared ahead. He said in a deep voice, "Guanghan Immortal, long time no see. Are you going to go against us? You're so beautiful. It would be a pity if you were killed. I'm afraid you don't have the ability." The Guanghan Immortal snorted coldly. "Is that so? My power is not something you can imagine." The Grim Reaper waved his hand, and the death scythe flew out. A black light streaked across the 9 heavens and slashed down. This was an aura that could destroy the world. Lin Xian and the others felt their hair stand on end. They hurriedly used the great dragon sword Qi to block this destructive power. Otherwise, even if they weren't hit, the remaining power of this power could turn them into white bones. An Earth immortal level figure was too powerful. The Guanghan Immortal took out the Rainbow Treasure Tree and used it to block everything. A sonorous sound rang out, but at this moment, Master Rashi made his move. He punched out and directly pushed the Guanghan Immortal back. The Guanghan Immortal frowned slightly. Not good. Xiaojia was worried. 2 against 1. The situation is really not good. Lin Xian said, "Senior, in this situation, it's not good to fight for a long time. Take us away first. We'll come back later. Don't worry, they can't hurt you." After the Guanghan Immortal finished speaking, she looked at the void. She said, "Since you're here, make your move. Is there anyone else?" Lin Xian and the others were stunned. Black Mountain was also excited. "Are you here?" In the sky, a cold voice sounded again. "I'm indeed here, but don't flatter yourself. I'm not here to help you. I just don't like hell. I don't like the Grim Reaper. I want to see who's better today." As soon as the voice fell, the void was cut into pieces by endless saber light. Then, a figure wearing a mask walked in. This figure was surrounded by endless murderous intent, and there was an illusion of the moon behind her. She was peerless and made people look up to her. However, the murderous intent on her body was terrifying. So scary. Xiaojio's scalp went numb. Lin Xian was shocked. "It's her." He remembered that this was another kind of powerhouse he saw in the Moon Palace. Back then, he saw 2 mysterious people in the Moon Palace. One was the Guanghan Immortal, and the other was a woman called the Moon Goddess. That woman wanted to kill him back then. It seemed that it was because he had the power of the Demon Emperor. Now, the other party came to help him. What was going on? He looked at Black Mountain. Black Mountain said, "It's a long story. I'll tell you in detail later." This new figure made countless people raise their heads to look up at him. Great Emperor Baiyu, Netherworld Sovereign, and the others were also terrified. The murderous intent on the other party was too terrifying. It was not weaker than the Grim Reaper at all. The Grim Reaper also frowned. He said coldly, "Moon Goddess, you're still alive." The Moon Goddess snorted, "You're not dead. How can I die? Are you here to help them? Do you want to become enemies with the Supreme Palace?" The Grim Reaper's voice was emotionless. The Moon Goddess said, "No, I'm here to compete with you. I just want to know if the hell you built is more powerful, or the human world I built is more powerful." Chapter 6085. The Moon God's voice was extremely cold and filled with endless killing intent. After Lin Xian heard this, he was completely stunned. What? The human world was actually created by him. It was unbelievable. One had to know that he had been hunted down by the human world before. Not only that, he had also been hunted down by the people of hell. Could it be that hell was created by the god of death? Thinking of this, he sucked in a breath of cold air. He didn't expect that behind these killer palaces was an Earth Immortal. No wonder it had been passed down for so long. What about the Heavenly Court, which was equally famous as these two? The Heavenly Court also had an extremely terrifying killer palace. Who created it? It must be an Earth Immortal. Lin Xian was very curious about this, but now he didn't have time to ask Black Mountain, because he was afraid that an extremely terrifying divine battle would happen next. Do you want to know who is stronger between hell and the human world? Very well, you'll know after a battle. The black sickle blotted out the sky and covered the earth as it slashed forward. Do you think I'm afraid of you? The moon god snorted coldly and waved her hand. Endless weapon fragments condensed in her hand, forming a scimitar. The full moon scimitar slashed out, shattering heaven and earth. With a clang, the two weapons collided. These were two divine artifacts. After one strike, the power was extremely terrifying. The 18th level of hell was split in half. Then the two of them retreated. When the god of death saw this scene, his face was extremely cold. The 18th level of hell was the source of his collection of geniuses. If this place was destroyed, then his territory would be gone as well. He gritted his teeth and said, "Control your power. Do you dare to compete with me?" "No problem." The moon god snorted coldly, killing of the moon. Although the law, immortal energy this time was terrifying, the range of its attack had been controlled to a certain area. It couldn't threaten anyone else. Lin Xian and the others were shocked. This was an earth immortal. His control over his power was extremely precise. The two of them fought, and the divine battle completely broke out. Lin Xian and the others were dazzled. This strength had completely surpassed the great emperor. Sure enough, the surrounding great emperors were also trembling in fear. Master Rashi lowered his gaze again and stared at Lin Xian and the others. However, the Guanghan Xian walked over, and the two of them started fighting again. These two were fighting immortals. The two of them also controlled their power, so that it did not affect anything else. The martial monarchs let out a relieved sigh. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to escape once the four earth immortals attacked. He would probably be reduced to ashes by the remaining power of this energy. Too powerful. Lin Xian, Xiaojuyo, and the others felt their blood boil. On the other side, martial monarch Baiyu netherworld supremacy, and the others were having a discussion too. Should he make a move now? Let's take down Lin Xian together. However, Master Rashi sent a voice transmission to Great Emperor Baiyu, saying, "Don't attack first. I have my own plan. As long as the opponent's Earth Immortal was defeated, that kid would not be able to escape." Yes, Great Emperor Baiyu was stunned when she heard this. He naturally did not dare to destroy Master Rashi's plan. Thus, he could only shake his head at the Netherworld sovereign. Let's wait for the Battle of the Immortals to come to an end. Master Rashi kept attacking. His defense was very terrifying. The seven-colored immortal light hit his turtle shell, making an earth-shattering sound. However, it did not hurt him. He said coldly, "It's useless. No one can break my defense." "Is that so? Then you can't break my seven-colored immortal light either." The Seven Wonders tree in the Guanghan Immortal's hand was also very mysterious. Although the battle between the two was shocking, it would be difficult to determine the winner in a short period of time. That might not be the case. Master Rashi suddenly laughed strangely. The Guanghan Immortal frowned. Why is this guy laughing so sinisterly? Could it be a trap? Thinking of this, she quickly retreated. However, at this moment, the void shattered and a long sword slashed down from the sky. The sword energy carried endless killing intent, making everyone's hair stand on end. Want to leave? It was too late. Not good. When the others saw this scene, their expressions changed drastically. What's going on? Why is there another earth-shattering power? Earth Immortal. Another Earth Immortal had arrived. The great emperors roared in horror. The people of the Supreme Hall were dumbfounded. Great Emperor Baiyu and the others from the other side cheered. It's the Essence Immortal. That's great. No wonder Master Rashi didn't let them make a move. It turned out that the Essence Immortal was hiding in the dark. At the critical moment, he made a killing move. Lin Xian was also shocked. He exclaimed, "I recognize this sword. It's the dragon-slaying sword." Damn it. Could it be the Essence Immortal? Not good, senior. Retreat. Lin Xian roared angrily. At the same time, he roared into the sky. The immortal slaying sword and the great dragon sword merged and were thrown out by him. It turned into a ray of holy light and charged towards the dragon-slaying sword. Clang! The sound of metal colliding was like the roar of thousands of soldiers and horses. The dragon-slaying sword shook slightly, but in the next moment, It sent the immortal slaying sword flying. The immortal slaying sword flew backward. It did not seem to affect the dragon slaying sword. The essence immortal's eyes were like two lanterns in the immortal world. He turned his head and stared at Lin Xian. Little ant, you have a divine artifact, but so what? You still can't fight against a real land immortal. The immortal light in his eyes suddenly erupted as he charged towards Lin Xian. Not good. Lin Xian felt as if he had been struck by lightning. He gritted his teeth and took out the heaven-swallowing jar, creating an endless vortex. He placed another emperor bone in front of him. However, he was still beaten until he vomited blood. He felt that all the bones in his body had cracked, and his soul was about to be extinguished. At the critical moment, the seven-colored immortal energy came in front of him and blocked the sword. At the same time, the Guanghan immortal's voice sounded, "Hurry up and leave. You are not his match." Guanghan immortal, are you still in the mood to care about others? The essence immortal sneered as the dragon-slaying sword slashed over again. Master Rashi also attacked, 2 against 1. Moreover, they were two land immortals, causing the Guanghan immortal to be in extreme danger. Xiaojuyo and the others were in despair. Lin Xian also roared. He was prepared to open the sword world and activate the great dragon sword soul without caring about anything else. However, at this moment, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Thousands of black holes appeared in the 9 heavens. Then, a force that could topple mountains and overturn seas struck the dragon-slaying sword. With a clang, the dragon-slaying sword was shaken by the impact. Endless sword energy pierced through all directions. In the end, the dragon-slaying sword was sent flying. How was this possible? The essence immortal was stunned. Master Rashi was also shocked and stood there in a daze. He didn't make a move. Who was it? Had another existence that wasn't weaker than them appeared? The Guanghan immortal also suddenly raised his head and looked at the endless black holes. This, she exclaimed. On the other side, the death god and the moon god who were fighting also stopped. They stood on both sides. Boundless killing intent filled the air. The entire atmosphere was extremely oppressive, but at this moment, no one dared to make a move. The reason for that was because they could sense an extremely frightening power coming from the sky. Another Earth, immortal-level person. Is he here? Lin Xian also raised his head. He used his Rinnegan. However, he realized that his Rinnegan couldn't see through it at all. In the sky, there were countless clouds and mist that filled the air, covering everything. However, since the other party had saved the Guanghan immortal, they should be on their side. Was it a land immortal from the divine realm? Chapter 6086. Suddenly, thousands of black holes appeared in the sky. Everyone raised their heads and looked over. Even the few earth immortals furrowed their brows. Master Rashi snorted coldly. Who is it? Come out and pretend to be a ghost. Boom. As soon as he finished speaking, 2 rays of light suddenly appeared in the countless black holes. They were 2 golden flames like small suns, jumping and spinning. Then, wherever they looked, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. They realized that the 2 flames were eyes. 2 golden eyes. Lin Xian's Rinnegan also kept jumping. He was really shocked. What kind of eyes were these? They seemed to be even more terrifying than the Rinnegan. The arrogant Master Rashi also looked as if he had seen a ghost. He seemed to have thought of something. Could it be, before he could finish his words, the golden eyes cut through the sky and landed on him? Boom. Master Rashi's huge body flew backward, and he even coughed out a mouthful of blood. The world shattered. Everyone was dumbfounded. Impossible, right? Great Emperor Baiyu, and the others went crazy. Previously, Master Rashi and Guanghan Immortal had fought for so long, and the 2 of them were evenly matched and had not been injured. This was because Master Roshi was known for his defense. His turtle shells seemed to be able to resist all attacks. Innates were invincible. But now, a single gaze from the sky had injured Master Roshi. How terrifying was this person? The other great emperors were also dumbfounded. When they looked at the pair of golden eyes, they suddenly screamed in agony. Their eyes were stinging, and even some great emperors were bleeding. Netherworld Sovereign covered his eyes, and blood tears flowed from his eyes. There was nothing he could do. It was too painful. The other party's eyes were filled with incomparable flames, making them unable to look directly at him. Apart from them, Higgin was the same. Even Xia Juyo, Black Mountain, and the others lowered their heads, not daring to look. Apart from a few Earth immortals, it seemed that only Lin Xian could use his Rinnegan to investigate. However, that was all. Lin Xian was extremely shocked. Who on earth was this person? The Guanghan immortal took a deep breath. Fiery eyes of truth. I didn't expect him to be here too. After saying that, she smiled. Don't worry, we'll definitely win this time. Who was this person? To think that the Guanghan immortal would say something so confident. On the other side, Master Roshi also got up. He looked up at the sky and roared madly, "Battle God! You're awake too? That's impossible!" Humph! A voice came from the sky. It was like a clap of thunder piercing through the 9 heavens, causing everyone's bodies to split apart. Then, a figure appeared behind the pair of golden eyes. Countless clouds filled the air, carrying him. Amidst the auspicious clouds, a figure sat cross-legged. It was a stone monkey. He sat upright in the clouds, like a god above the 9 heavens. Damn it, it's really him. The virtual immortal's expression was also extremely ugly. On the other side, the moon goddess's eyes flickered. Even the fighting god had appeared. The Grim Reaper didn't make a move either. He was also facing a great enemy. That was because this name was too unusual. His opponents break the universe, break the heavens. It was a myth. In the sky, the fighting god looked down. The radiance of his fiery golden eyes was restrained, and the flames in his eyes kept spinning. He stared at Master Roshi and said coldly, "You turtle! How dare you come out to stir up trouble? Aren't you afraid that I'll suppress you again?" His loud voice was like the roar of a god. Master Roshi was so scared that he trembled, because he thought of his past. Back then, he had fought with the other party, but he was seriously injured, and even fell into a deep sleep for hundreds of thousands of years. He was no match for the other party. The virtual immortal beside him snorted coldly. "Don't be arrogant. There are many experts in the Nirvana realm. There are even grand elders who stand above the 9 heavens. Do you think you can withstand it? Is that so? Then why can't they come out?" The fighting god shook his head. The virtual immortal trembled in anger. Indeed, there were many experts in the Nirvana realm. But so what if they couldn't come out? The fighting god ignored them and looked at Lin Xian and Xia Juyo. The two of them bowed. Lin Xian said, "Greetings, senior." He now understood who it was. It was the stone monkey in the cave of the slanting moon and 3 stars. Back then, he had gone to the cave of the slanting moon and 3 stars and obtained the Bodhi fruit there. There was a stone monkey under the Bodhi tree. Not only that, there was another world in the cave of the slanting moon and 3 stars. There was a man sleeping on the Dragon Mountain. This stone monkey was actually so terrifying. It was a land immortal. Who was that man? In the sky, the fighting god said, "Follow me." He didn't do anything. He just looked down. Clouds filled the air around Lin Xian and Xia Juyo, forming 2 auspicious clouds. He brought them into the sky. "How dare you?" the virtual immortal roared. The Grim Reaper also snorted coldly. "Do you think we don't exist?" They had been fighting for so long. Wasn't it just a fight for Xia Juyo? The people of the Nirvana realm even wanted to kill Lin Xian. But now, these two important people were taken away by the other party. Do you want to fight? The fighting god snorted coldly. The golden light in his eyes was originally restrained, but it suddenly bloomed. The entire sky was completely enveloped by this flame, constantly shattering. At a glance, it burned the world. Those great emperors were so scared that they prostrated on the ground. It was too terrifying. What kind of power was this? It was as if he could kill all of them with just a glance. The land immortal on the other side fell silent. Master Rashi gritted his teeth. This damn monkey's aura was too strong. They couldn't fight. The virtual immortal didn't dare to make a move. If it was 3 against 1, they would definitely attack without hesitation. But now it was 3 against 3. If they really wanted to fight, Master Rashi wasn't a match. He didn't even have the courage to fight. Then he would be facing the fighting god, facing a legendary figure. The virtual immortal was also under a lot of pressure. He felt that his chances of winning were only 30%. It wasn't even certain. That was because no one knew what level the battle god had reached. Thinking of this, he turned his head to look at the death god. The death god also shook his head slightly and said through voice transmission, "We can't fight unless 2 more land immortals come." Land immortals weren't cabbages. Moreover, in the previous battle, countless people were injured. A large number of great emperors fell, and even the land immortals were seriously injured. The better ones were like the virtual immortals who were recovering silently. The worse ones were like Master Rashi, who had been sleeping for millions of years. There were also some who hadn't woken up yet. Therefore, they couldn't bring out such a lineup at the moment. It seemed that they could only retreat. At this moment, the fighting god in the sky spoke again. The 9 Netherland will be opened by the divine realm. You can only enter after 3 years. 3 years! Damn it! The virtual immortal and the others gritted their teeth. 3 years was enough for too many things to happen. The divine realm entered first and set up the trap first. After they entered, they would be quite passive. Even some of the treasures in the 9 Netherland would be snatched by the divine realm first. Damn it, they had calculated everything, but they didn't expect the fighting god to wake up. Chapter 6087. The people of the Nirvana realm and the Supreme Hall left. The surroundings were a mess, as if the chaos had just begun. This was the scene left behind after the battle between the land immortals. This was because they had controlled their power. Otherwise, with one blow, the 18 levels of hell would have been reduced to ashes. They were finally gone. Black Mountain and the others breathed a sigh of relief. It was really dangerous just now. The battle between the gods and the immortals was so far away from them. However, it happened in front of them at this moment. Lin Xian and Xia Jia were also pale. This was especially so for Lin Xian, who clenched his fists tightly. Strength. This was absolute strength, a supreme existence. When would he be able to reach this step? Lin Xian. A resounding voice came from behind the battle god. Lin Xian was stunned and turned his head. "It's you, Sun Qiqian. You're here too." Sun Qiqian smiled. "Long time no see. I came with my father." "Your father?" Lin Xian was completely stunned. This fighting god was Sun Qiqian's father. It was incredible. "Little guy, I see that your strength has reached the peak of the quasi-emperor. You should be breaking through to the emperor realm soon." As soon as he said that, Sun Qiqian was also surprised. So fast. "Lin Xian, are you going to take the divine path or the immortal path?" Before Lin Xian could speak, the fighting god said, "The divine fire seed has reached the peak, and the immortal chi seed has reached perfection. It seems that you don't want to give up either of them?" "That's right, senior. I want to take the immortal path." "No way." Sun Qiqian was startled. Guanghan, immortal, also frowned. Even the moon goddess snorted coldly. You're too greedy. Even the demon emperor, that old ghost, doesn't dare to take such a path. If you continue like this, your body and soul will be destroyed. The loss outweighs the gain. Not necessarily. Lin Xian said, there's still a chance. I cultivate the Taiji painting. It can fuse yin and yang. In addition, I found an immortal pagoda in the 9 Serenities. It seems to be called the 7 Treasures Exquisite Pagoda. Dalong said that if he could find the heaven-earth mysterious yellow pagoda, he might be able to open a path to the immortal path. The 7 Treasures Exquisite Pagoda. Moon God was shocked. The fighting god said, Tai Chi gives birth to yin and yang. If you use the Tai Chi diagram as the foundation, you might really be able to do it. However, no one has done it before, so I can't say for sure what the chances of success are. Guanghan, immortal beside him, said, yeah, the black-yellow pagoda of heaven and earth is even harder to find. What if you can't find it? Lin Xian was stunned. He had never thought about this before, because in his knowledge there was nothing he couldn't find. Beside him, the battle god also raised his head to look at the sky. The golden light in his eyes suddenly pierced through the 9 heavens as he looked at the endless void. What's wrong? The Guanghan immortal was nervous. Did the people of the Nirvana realm make a comeback? The moon goddess snorted and said, then let's kill them all. A murderous aura instantly erupted from her body. Even Lin Xian and the others looked as if they were facing a great enemy. Was another great battle coming? However, the war god shook his head slightly. No, it wasn't someone from the otherworld realm, nor was it someone from the Supreme Palace. I sensed an aura. The others were puzzled. What aura? It could make the war god so surprised. The war god didn't say anything. After watching for half an hour, he withdrew his gaze. Then he actually smiled. Haha, little guy, you're so lucky. I sensed that the black-yellow pagoda of heaven and earth has appeared. Really? Lin Xian was overjoyed. The moon goddess and the Guanghan immortal also felt incredible. The 7 Treasures Exquisite Pagoda and the black-yellow pagoda of heaven and earth appeared one after another. It should be known that in the endless years, it was already heaven-defying to have one appear. But now, they appeared at the same time. Moreover, it was on the eve of Lin Xian's Tao validation. Could it be that Lin Xian was really going to walk the Tao of Immortals? Senior, where is the black-yellow pagoda of heaven and earth? Lin Xian asked anxiously. He must find it because it was his hope of Tao validation. The war god said, little guy, don't panic. That thing can't run away. Besides, it won't be obtained by outsiders. Let's open the 9th underworld first. Oh, Lin Xian froze, then nodded. That's right. How could something that had been targeted by the battle god run away? He thought that the war god was extremely confident that he could snatch the black-yellow pagoda of heaven and earth under the siege of the Nirvana realm and the Supreme Palace. However, he later realized that he was wrong. The war god didn't mean that. Of course, he didn't know yet. The most important thing now was to open the 9th underworld. Lin Xian must get the 7 Treasures Exquisite Pagoda inside. Xia, Jiao took a deep breath and used his 9 underworld physique to the extreme. Lin Xian also waved his hand and took out 2 wordless heavenly steels. There was another wordless heavenly steel in hell. At this moment, it flew out automatically after being sensed. The 3 wordless heavenly steels stood in 3 directions, representing heaven, earth, and man. Then they used the 9 underworld physique as the key to open the 9th underworld. Crack, crack, crack. An ancient sound rang between heaven and earth, as if a new time and space had been restarted. At this moment, a mysterious and primitive aura came from the void. Everyone was shocked. The people in hell were shocked. What is this? Has the ancient world been opened? I felt a strong power. Great, I'm going to break through. A new world has arrived. It's incredible. The people in hell all roared crazily. Not only hell, but all the worlds in the universe also sensed it. What has appeared? Oh, heavens! Is another land of immortals descending upon us? No, I feel that this aura is even more terrifying than the deity ground. It's more than 10 times stronger. The people in the universe also went crazy. Some people who cultivated the Een power were trembling with excitement. If they could get this power, they could advance by leaps and bounds. Great, as expected of the Golden Age. They knelt down and cheered. The people in the deity ground also felt it. Many people felt their hair stand on end. They looked at the universe from afar, shocked. This universe was too mysterious. There were endless secrets in all the worlds in the universe. In the beginning, when the deity ground descended, these people looked down on the universe. They thought that it was an inferior world. It was just a small universe that could be destroyed easily. However, the more they came into contact with it, the more shocked they were, because endless secrets were buried in the universe. As a matter of fact, a new power had appeared. The Divine Union, the Yi family, the Gu family, the Phoenix clan, the Qilin clan, these great emperor families, and the remote antiquity families. At this moment, all of them were shocked. It could be said that all the living beings in the universe and all the worlds in the universe were shocked. At this moment, everyone in the 9 Serenities was panicking. It seemed that something incredible was about to happen. In the 9 Serenities, some of these families had many great emperors. Some even cultivated 2 strands of immortal qi. At this moment, they felt their eyelids twitching and their souls trembling. They couldn't help but look up at the sky. What is going to happen? Why am I so uneasy? In an ancient palace, a white-haired great emperor sighed. It's here. It's finally here. He was the great emperor who had chased away his little disciple. In the endless abyss, a great emperor in black armor also took a deep breath. This feeling of the unknown, was it hope or destruction? Previously, he had personally put his 2 children to sleep, waiting for them to wake up after 10,000 years. This was because he didn't know what would happen when the experts outside arrived. Would it be the same as millions of years ago? Chapter 6088. Terrified and miserable screams echoed throughout the 9 Serenities continent. Even the lofty great emperors were shocked at this moment. The 9th summit. There was a mysterious summit surrounded by clouds and mist. It looked like a mountain in a sea of clouds. Inside, Butian's face was pale. He said, "What is this aura? Why do I feel so uncomfortable?" Xueqi walked over and said, "Don't be afraid. This is the aura outside. My husband and the others have succeeded. The 9 Serenities is opening." The aura outside. Butian's face was blank. Xueqi shot out a law and surrounded him. Then, she said, "The 9 Serenities is full of cold and dark aura all year round. You've lived here for many years, so you haven't seen the outside. The outside world not only has the power of Yin, but also the power of Yang. This might be the first time you've come into contact with the power of Yang, but you'll get used to it." Butian nodded. "Big sister, don't worry. I'll get used to it." There was a loud boom. Right at this moment, the sea of clouds rolled, and countless mists filled the air. Butian's face changed. "Oh no, someone is attacking the array," Xia Xingchen said. "Could it be that the enemy is here?" Xueqi said, "You two, stay inside. I'll go and take a look." After saying that, she walked forward. Her eyes shone with a cold light. Xueqi's soul covered the front. Then she frowned. There was indeed someone attacking them. Moreover, the person who came was someone she knew. Xia Kuangsha. Wasn't this person beaten to the bottom of the mysterious lake by them? Why did he come out again? Yes, the person who came was Xia Kuangsha. The power of Yang from the outside gradually surged in. making everyone on the Nine Serenities continent feel numb. Even Xia Guangsha felt the same. He was very uneasy. Therefore, he sped up. Finally, he arrived at the ninth summit. When he saw the clouds outside, he slashed out with his saber. The saber light was so cold that it split the sky and the earth. However, when it hit the clouds, it only made them roll. What a strange thing! How could a mere sea of clouds block his attack? He circled the ninth summit once. He found that the entire ninth summit was wrapped in a sea of clouds. He frowned when he felt the power contained in the sea of clouds. This was an extremely powerful formation. But so what? He was a super martial monarch who possessed 2 strands of immortal chi. Upon having this thought, he harumphed coldly and waved his hand. A terrifying tornado began to spin in his palm. The flying sand and pebbles carried an incomparably sharp force. Even if a great emperor was hit by it, he would be instantly split apart. Boom, the attack flew out of the palm and grew in size, transforming into a tornado that whistled through the air. After the wind passed, nothing could stop it. When it entered the sea of clouds, it tore a crack in the sea of clouds. Not good. When Xueqi witnessed this, her expression changed drastically. Xia Guangsha's strength had exceeded her expectations. Although the cloud sea formation was terrifying and could stop a martial emperor, it was still too weak. However, Xia Guangsha possessed 2 strands of immortal chi. He was far stronger than ordinary great emperors. Although the opponent's attack couldn't tear the sea of clouds apart, if this continued, the sea of clouds would be torn apart in 3 days. What followed next was a bitter battle. Xueqi took a deep breath, and a cold light shone in her eyes. She raised her head to look at the sky and felt that the power of the sun outside was increasing. She said, "Husband, you must hurry up and come here. Although this formation is powerful, it can't stop me. Give me 2 days, and I will be able to break it." A cold light shone in Xia Guangsha's eyes. He waved his hand, and 2 strands of immortal chi spread out, absorbing the cold power between heaven and earth. They turned into gusts of wind and flew forward. The sea of clouds churned, and the formation was continuously attacked. This was because the formation set up by a heavenly master was extremely powerful. Otherwise, any great emperor-level formation would be instantly torn apart by Xia Guangsha's attack. However, even if it was set up by a heavenly master, it wouldn't be able to last for long. Only 2 days. On the 9th peak, Butian and Xia Xingchen's faces were pale. They said, "We won't be killed by him, right? Why haven't grandfather and the others come back yet? Don't worry, they will be back soon." Xueqi held the 9 nether sword tightly. She wouldn't let anyone harm Butian and Xia Xingchen. In the blink of an eye, a day had passed, and half of the cloud sea formation had been destroyed. Xia Guangsha was getting closer and closer to them. He was less than 100 meters away. Xia Guangsha could already see Xueqi and the others on the 9th peak laughing. "Just you wait. When I tear the formation apart, I will make you suffer a fate worse than death." He continued to wave his hand, and sand and stones flew all over the sky. Together with the immortal chi, it was extremely terrifying. Half a day later, he advanced another 50 meters. "It's over." Butian's face was cold. "I can already feel that the formation won't be able to hold on for much longer. In an hour, at most an hour, our formation will be destroyed." Xueqi stood up and took a deep breath. "I will stop them and send you away." Her eyes shone with a cold light. Her 9 nether sword technique could open a spatial tunnel and send them outside. However, every time she used it, she had to wait for a long time. Last time, she sent 9 nether and Lin Xian out. Now, she couldn't open a spatial tunnel again for the time being. However, she swore that she wouldn't let him succeed even if she had to risk her life. "You want to run? None of you will be able to escape." When I catch you, I will slowly torture you to death. Xia Kuangsha laughed. He advanced another 30 meters. There were only 20 meters left. Soon, there were only 10 meters left. Everyone could feel the violent power on Xia Kuangsha's body. There was only one more attack, and you would definitely die. Xia Kuangsha waved his hand, and the wind in his hand was vast and mighty. At this moment, heaven and earth rumbled, and the Nine Nether was suddenly enveloped by sunlight. This scene was really too strange. One had to know that the Nine Nether was the power of Een. It was as if they were living in hell. Even if there was a sun, the light was still gray. Dark clouds covered the sky. They had long been used to the darkness. However, at this moment, it was as if someone had torn a big hole in the sky. Endless light poured down. That sunlight shone on everyone, making their bodies hot. Damn it, what is this? My eyes, I can't open them. Why? I feel as if my body is about to melt. At this moment, everyone in the Nine Nether screamed, crazily. It couldn't be helped. Could you imagine when a person saw the sunlight for the first time after staying in the dark for a long time? They had stayed in the Nine Nether for millions of years. They had long forgotten what the sun outside looked like. So now, they seemed to have fallen into a sea of fire. Bu Tian also cried out in surprise. He could feel a scorching aura. Xia Xingchen hurried to protect him and said, "Don't be afraid. You will get used to it soon." Xia Kuangsha, who was attacking, also stopped. Many spots appeared on his body. Then his body actually began to melt. Damn it, damn it. What kind of power is this? He screamed under the sunlight. Chapter 6089. Damn it, what's going on? Xia Kuangsha was terrified. He had never seen this kind of light before. He felt as if he was about to be turned into ashes. He used the power of the netherworld to revolve around him. Xue Qi, on the other hand, was overjoyed. This is great. The netherworld has been opened. My husband and the others have succeeded. She looked ahead and said in a deep voice, "This is the power of the sun." "The sun? Stop joking." Xia Kuangsha roared. "I've blown up no less than 5 small suns. None of them could block my punch. How is the sunlight?" Indeed, there was once when he was drunk and looked at the sun in the sky, so he punched through it. After all, he was a great emperor who had cultivated 2 strands of immortal energy. So, a mere sun was nothing to him. Xue Qi sneered. "You're just a frog at the bottom of a well. You're talking about the sun of the netherworld. Now, it's the sun of all the realms, the sun of the universe. This kind of sunlight is the purest. It's something you've never seen in your life. The sun of all the realms, the sun of the universe?" Xia Kuangsha was stunned when he heard this. He seemed to come back to his senses. He roared in horror. "Are you saying that the netherworld has been opened? How is this possible?" For millions of years, the netherworld had never been opened. They had long gotten used to it. But now the other party was telling him that the netherworld had been opened just like this. The Xia family's plan hadn't succeeded yet. He was a member of the Xia family, and the Xia family had always had a plan, which was to open the netherworld. However, they needed to find the body of the netherworld first. Now, the plan hadn't even started, but someone had already opened the netherworld. Damn it, what's going on? He had to finish the battle quickly. Xia Kuangsha roared. He formed the netherworld armor and attacked again, even if the netherworld had been opened. So, what? He had to catch that boy and bring him to the monster immortal. Otherwise, the runes that the monster immortal had planted in his body would split open. He would be turned into ashes. As he thought of this, he endured the pain and attacked again. However, at this moment, several figures descended from the sky. We're back." Upon hearing this voice, Xue Qi looked up at the sky excitedly. "It's my husband." She waved her hand. "Husband, we are here. A beam of light descended. Lin Xian had arrived. "Are you okay?" Lin Xian asked. Xue Qi said, "It was too dangerous." He was only 10 meters away from breaking the formation. When Lin Xian heard this, he frowned and turned to look. When he saw Xia Guangsha, his eyes lit up. "You actually came out alive." "Kid, it's you." Xia Guangsha coldly snorted when he saw Lin Xian. This was the target he wanted to capture. Previously, he was also ambushed by the other party and fell into the lake. Now, the two grudges would be avenged together. Go to hell. His large hand swept through the air and mercilessly slapped down. "Husband, be careful," Xue Qi shouted. However, Lin Xian said, "It doesn't matter. The ninth serenity has been opened. Their strength has been greatly suppressed. As for my divine body, its strength will increase exponentially." "Stupid thing," Xia Guangsha sneered. "Even if my strength is suppressed, it's still 2 strands of divine energy. It's not something a puny quasi-emperor like you can resist." As his voice fell, his palm became even more terrifying. With a wave of his hand, the sky fell and the earth cracked. Lin Xian, on the other hand, activated his 9 yang divine body and unleashed the power of extreme yang. 9 suns revolved around him, and an extremely powerful flame swept out in all directions. When that large black hand approached, white smoke came out of it. It seemed like it would shatter at any moment. "Damn it!" Xia Guangsha screamed and withdrew his palm. He was bewildered, and his expression was as if he had seen a ghost. "How did your physique become so much stronger?" He was dumbfounded. His opponent's realm hadn't increased, but why was the might of this flame much stronger than before? Lin Xian laughed heartily. "The ninth serenity hadn't been opened before. When I was here, even my divine body was somewhat suppressed. But now, the power of all the realms in the universe has rushed in. I represent the power of the yang divine body. All the suns in the universe are under my control. I can restrain you." "Damn it," Xia Guangsha roared. The other party's luck was too good. As a member of the Xia family, he knew the history of their family. Millions of years ago, their family's land, immortal, led them to kill their way out. They could also fight in all directions in the universe. They weren't afraid of the sun. It was just that they hadn't seen the sun for millions of years. Therefore, after seeing it for the first time, they were greatly suppressed. They would probably be able to adapt after some time. But now he didn't have time. He had to catch the other party quickly. Thinking of this, he roared angrily. The 2 strands of immortal qi on his body actually burned. He still had to risk his life to suppress the other party with lightning speed. "Go to hell, kid." He quickly rushed over, revealing a ferocious smile. However, just as he approached Lin Xian, a 7-colored light suddenly fell from the sky and hit his body. It directly sent him flying. He spat out a large mouthful of blood. His body was broken, and he was on the verge of death. How could this be? He was stunned. This 7-colored immortal light directly caused him to suffer heavy injuries. This power was not something he could resist at all. It even caused his soul to tremble. He couldn't help but kneel on the ground. "Who was it?" "Humph. Who allowed you to make a move on him?" A cold voice was heard from the sky. Immediately after, a white-clothed woman descended from the sky like a fairy. She had 7-colored immortal light on her body, and she had the 7 Wonders treasure tree in her hand. That golden light was shot out by her. A fairy from the outside world. Xia Guangsha raised his head and glanced at the other party. He screamed in pain, his eyes bleeding. There was nothing he could do. The other party's aura was too powerful. Just like that demonic immortal, she was a land immortal. This kid actually found a land immortal. Xia Guangsha wanted to die. This was a super iron plate. He actually kicked such an iron plate. Senior, please spare my life. I don't dare. It's just that there's also a land immortal behind me. Who wants this kid? Boom. As soon as he finished speaking, the moonlight flickered, and a saber slashed over. Xia Guangsha was split in half. For a moment, he felt that he was about to die. But at this time, the seven-colored immortal light saved his life. He came back from the gates of hell. The two halves of his body fell to the ground, and he let out a miserable cry. He looked with the last bit of his soul. He saw that another woman had descended. This woman was wearing green clothes and a green mask. She was peerlessly beautiful. However, the murderous aura on her body was really too strong. Just a glance was enough to tear his soul into pieces. The scimitar in her hand bloomed with a biting cold light. It was that scimitar that split him in half. Another land immortal. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been able to split him in half so easily. He was completely scared out of his wits. Behind a quasi-emperor stood two land immortals. God, was the universe outside so terrifying? Now he was extremely regretful. What kind of plan did his family have? The universe outside was too dangerous. Wasn't it good to survive in the Nine Serenities? Back then, their ancestor was at the peak of his power and became a land immortal. But wasn't he still seriously injured? It was because he left the Nine Serenities and came to the universe. Now, in Xia Guangsha's eyes, the universe outside was a prehistoric beast. He absolutely couldn't go there. Chapter 6090. You were too cruel. You almost killed him. The Guanghan immortal frowned. Fortunately, I saved his life. Otherwise, we wouldn't know who the immortal behind him is. The moon goddess snorted coldly. He wouldn't have died even if you hadn't done anything. I knew what I was doing. If I wanted him to live, he would live. If I wanted him to die, he would die. The two immortal-like figures were talking here. They didn't take Xia Guangsha seriously at all. When Xue Qi saw this scene, she also felt dizzy. Previously, when she faced Xia Guangsha, she was sure that she would die. She planned to die together with him. However, in the eyes of the two Earth Immortals, Xia Guangsha was just a small ant that could be suppressed with a wave of their hand. The gap between them was really too big. She was also envious. When could she be like these two fairies? Cheater, come here. I'll introduce you to the two seniors. Lin Xian pulled Xue Qi over and introduced them to each other. Greetings, seniors. Xue Qi, Butian, and Xia Xingchen quickly saluted. Xia Xingchen even shouted, Brother Lin, where's my grandfather? Don't worry, your grandfather is fine. He's still opening the passage to the Nine Serenities. When the passage is completely opened, your grandfather will be able to come back. Great. Hearing this, Xia Xingchen breathed a sigh of relief. Indeed, there were more and more big cracks in the sky. At first, it seemed to be torn apart by someone. However, in the end, endless cracks appeared on the Nine Serenities. The whole sky was completely opened by someone. Endless light sprinkled down, and all kinds of auras from outside the universe poured in. The power of the Nine Serenities also poured out and intertwined with each other. The cold power of the Nine Serenities terrified the people of the infernal realm. The 18 layers of hell were cut in half by the moon goddess and the death god. Many people had already died. However, under the power of the 9 underworlds, those dead skeletons actually turned into living skeletons. They came back to life with another kind of life. In the Nine Serenities, some experts also made breakthroughs. It couldn't be helped. They had originally cultivated this kind of Yin power. At this moment, with the power of the Nine Serenities, their strength immediately doubled. This made them wild with joy. Furthermore, this power not only enveloped hell, but it also swept out rapidly into the universe. In the universe, some people felt this aura, and their bodies trembled. Many people felt that their souls were about to be frozen. What a terrifying aura. Who open hell? In an instant, countless people fled one after another. The starry sky had become a completely uninhabited region. As for the people of the ninth underworld, their situation was not good either. For the first time in a million years, they saw the real sun. Thus, in an instant, smoke began to rise from the bodies of many people. Some of the weaker ones actually turned into ashes under the sun. Those who were stronger were also pierced by the sunlight, and many wounds appeared on their bodies. Countless clans felt their scalps go numb. They said, "Quickly tear, open the earth. Let's go underground, and let the earth protect us." There were even people who set up formations and gathered the power of the underworld to resist. The end of the world is coming. The people of the ninth serenity were in despair. This kind of power could restrain them. In an ancient temple, half of the white-haired martial monarch's body turned into ashes under the sunlight. He looked up and roared, "Am I going to die?" His eyes were filled with horror. In the boundless darkness, there was a big crack in a canyon. The darkness melted like ice and snow. The martial monarch in black armor looked even more weathered. Like a candle, he was about to melt. Was this sunlight the source of his fear? Damn it. He felt that the divine crystals he carefully prepared were about to melt into water. At this moment, the martial monarchs of the ninth underworld were also terrified. In a certain valley, Torch Dragon roared crazily. His body kept rolling, and a lot of dragon scales had fallen off. Damn it, am I going to die? No. Why? I don't want to die. Xia Qinyu's face was also pale. Several wounds appeared on his body. His body was about to crack. He was also trembling. However, he gritted his teeth and said, "Don't be afraid. You won't die. This is the power from the outside." The ninth underworld was opened by someone. This is the sunlight from the outside. Millions of years ago, our Xia family once went out of the ninth underworld. We can live under the sunlight. However, we are not used to it now. Let's find a place to hide first. With our strength, we can adapt in less than a month. At that time, we can come out. We can leave the ninth underworld and go to other places. Ha ha! He laughed proudly. Although he was surprised that the ninth underworld was about to open. However, no matter what the process was, it had opened. He could finally go outside. As for the outside world, he had only heard about it from the elders in his family when he was young. The outside world was very good. It had all kinds of power and countless mysterious laws. He had been looking forward to it for a long time. The crack in the sky was still getting bigger. Once the sky was torn open, the sunlight sprinkled down. The entire process continued until the ninth day, when it finally stopped. At this moment, the nine serenities land had been completely opened, connecting with the universe and the myriad of worlds outside. The power of each other was more perfect. Amidst the initial panic, the people on the continent of the ninth nether gradually sensed that something was amiss. There seemed to be a new kind of power on their land, a power that they had never seen before. Perhaps it was a blessing in disguise. Some martial monarchs were also excited. I see the hope of going further. I can actually go out and take a look at the legendary outside world in my lifetime. The white-haired martial monarch burst into tears. The black-armored martial monarch with half of his body also roared to the sky. At this moment, everyone was excited. Although they were still hiding, they had already seen hope. In the celestial creation pool, the demonic immortal looked up at the sky. An extremely cold light burst out from his eyes. The nine netherland had actually opened. It's so fast. Damn it, I have to hide for a while. He turned his head to look at the celestial creation pool. Extremely unhappy. The pool water didn't matter. The immortal pagoda under the celestial creation pool was incomparably precious. However, with his strength, he couldn't take it away. Once the ninth underworld opened, those people outside would come. He knew that there were many Earth immortals in the Tao universe. Who knew how many of them could wake up? If a few Earth immortals came and took the immortal pagoda away, it would be bad. First, I'll set up a formation to hide this place. The ninth underworld is so big and vast. Even Earth immortals can't see the end of it. I don't believe that they can find this place in an instant. The demonic immortal formed a seal with his palms, forming the strange lake again. Ordinary people wouldn't dare to come close. Then his figure flashed, and he left temporarily. On the other side, Lin Xian had already set off with the moon god and Guanghan immortal. They flew toward the celestial creation pool with Xia Kuangsha. This time, they were going to take the immortal pagoda. Chapter 1691. With two land immortals leading the way, they moved very quickly. Soon, they arrived at the creation immortal pool. There was an unusual aura here. The Guanghan immortal said. The moon goddess was also extremely surprised. She split the creation immortal pool with one slash. The entire pool was split into two halves, revealing the scene below. What was this? They saw a pagoda below. The pagoda was extremely exquisite and shone with a mysterious light. Was this the Seven Treasures exquisite pagoda? The Guanghan immortal was surprised. The moon goddess also waved her hand, and a ray of moonlight grabbed downward. However, the Seven Treasures exquisite pagoda shook slightly and shattered the moon goddess's attack. It's amazing that I can't catch it. Seniors, do you know the origin of this pagoda? Lin Xian asked. The moon goddess glared at him and said, Am I very old? Senior, call me sister. Lin Xian was speechless. The Guanghan immortal shook her head. I don't know. The origin of this pagoda is very mysterious. We can't explain it clearly. Also, you call her sister, but don't call me sister. I'm older than you. I'm the same generation as your father. You can call me Auntie Yu. No, then I'm a generation younger than you. Don't call me sister. Just call me the moon goddess. Okay. Facing these two land immortals, Lin Xian also had a headache. Xia Kuangsha, who was suppressed next to him, also looked around. He was looking for the demonic immortal. Perhaps the demonic immortal could save him. However, after looking around, he sighed. There was no sign of the demonic immortal. Could it be that the other party had left? Then wouldn't he be suppressed for the rest of his life? No, he was in despair. In fact, he wasn't the only one looking for it. Lin Xian was also looking for it. He frowned and said, Damn that guy, he's not here. What are you looking for? The Guanghan immortal asked. Lin Xian said, There was a demonic immortal here before who was trapped here by the pagoda. I saved him. Yet that guy actually bit the hand that fed him and tried to attack me. It seems that he has left. The Guanghan immortal's eyes flickered, and the colorful immortal qi on her body fluttered. She said, I did feel the information of another land immortal, and it seems that he just left. Humph! The moon goddess snorted coldly. Good thing he left quickly. Otherwise, I would have sent him to the underworld. At the moment, Lin Xian and the others had no idea that there was a mirror hidden beneath the ground. This mirror was left behind by the demon immortal. Through the mirror, the immortal monster was able to see everything that was happening in the Fortune Immortal Pond. When he saw Lin Xian and the others return, he immediately gritted his teeth. That damn brat, he actually came back. However, when he saw the two land immortals, his hair stood on end. Damn it, that kid actually managed to find two Earth immortals. The situation was really not good. Fortunately, he ran fast. Otherwise, he would end up in a miserable state. After all, he could still fight one-on-one if they were at the same level. If it was 2 against 1, not to mention him, any Earth immortal would not be able to withstand it. After all, every land immortal was a figure with extraordinary means. How was he going to collect this pagoda? Lin Xian frowned. He realized that he couldn't take the moon goddess away, and neither could the moon immortal. Even the two of them couldn't do anything. It seemed that he could only let the war god take action. The moon immortal said. Lin Xian looked up at the sky. The moon immortal also transmitted his voice. Not long after, clouds filled the sky, and a figure broke through the space. The war god's gaze fell. His fiery eyes of truth saw through everything. First, he saw the 7 treasures exquisite pagoda. The war god also nodded slightly. That's right, it's this pagoda. Who would have thought that it would appear again? I'll get it for you. Thank you, Senior. Lin Xian was overjoyed. The strength of the war god was unparalleled. If he took action, there would be absolutely no mistakes. But at this time, the war god was surprised. Someone dared to observe us secretly. His fiery eyes of truth suddenly erupted, and a ray of piercing cold light shattered the ground. A mirror fell down. Who was it? The moon goddess grabbed the mirror in an instant and probed it with her soul. On the other side, the demon immortal was shocked. Heavens, what is that? Those golden eyes. Why does it feel like they can burn the world? Damn it, it's too terrifying. Who the hell is this kid? Why does he have such a terrifying master by his side? He was so scared that he hurriedly fled and shattered the other mirror in his hand. At the same time, in the creation celestial pool, the mirror in the moon goddess's hand also shattered. It split into 3 pieces and fell to the ground. The moon goddess snorted coldly. Did he escape? Damn it, Lin Xian said. It must be that demon immortal. Senior, can you find him? The war god's gaze swept across the 9 heavens and 10 lands. He shook his head slightly. The 9th underworld was too vast. If he fled into the distance, he wouldn't be found in a short time. Besides, there was no need to find him. He would take the 7 treasures exquisite pagoda first. After saying that, clouds filled the sky. This time, not only the fiery eyes of truth, but the war god's true body also descended. He sat on an auspicious cloud and slowly descended. Although the war god's true body had arrived, however, he was still sitting there cross-legged without any movement on his body. From Lin Xian's direction, the war god's body seemed to have turned into a stone statue. Lin Xian was surprised. I wonder what kind of cultivation method he is practicing. The war god didn't move. His true body just landed beside the 7 treasures exquisite pagoda. Then he said, "Follow me." The 7 treasures exquisite pagoda actually rose into the air and followed beside the war god. Is this enough? Lin Xian was surprised. The Guanghan immortal was also amazed. As expected of the war god, his power is indeed boundless. The war god said, "Little guy, I'll take the 7 treasures exquisite pagoda with me first. In this way, no one from the Nirvana realm or the Supreme Palace can take it away. When you need it, come to me to get it." Thank you, Senior. Lin Xian was overjoyed. Indeed, if he stayed by his side, it would probably cause countless jealous masters to attack him. However, it was different if he stayed by the war god's side. Who would dare to attack the war god? Great, he found one. Next was the heaven-earth dark yellow pagoda. He asked again, "Senior, where is the heaven-earth dark yellow pagoda?" This is exactly what I want to say. The 9 serenities has been completely opened. Next, I will leave here and go to the heavenly land. Why do you want to go to the heavenly land? Lin Xian was puzzled. The moon goddess even said, "I say, monkey, did you cultivate until you became stupid? The 9 serenities has just opened. There are countless treasures waiting for us to grab. Why do you want to go to the heavenly land? What's so good about that place?" The war god shook his head slightly. "Girl, you don't understand. I'm going to help them. Besides, the heaven-earth dark yellow pagoda is in the heavenly land. I've already felt a trace of its aura before." It turned out to be like this. Lin Xian was shocked. The heavenly land had the heaven-earth dark yellow pagoda. Could it be related to his father, Lord Alcohol, and the others? As if reading Lin Xian's thoughts, the war god said, "Little guy, don't go. Work hard and improve yourself. You can't help in the battle in the heavenly land now." After saying that, he looked at the moon goddess and the moon goddess. "Do you two want to go with me?" Were they ignored? Lin Xian was speechless. He also looked at the moon goddess and the moon goddess. He was excited. If the two of them went together, they would be 3 earth immortals. No matter how difficult it was in the heavenly land, they should be able to settle it. Chapter 6092. Lin Xian originally thought that the 3 earth immortals would go to the heavenly land together. However, the moon goddess said, "I'm not going. I don't want to see the old demon." Guanghan, immortal, also shook his head. "It's not convenient for me to go now. I haven't figured out how to see him." Lin Xian, what was going on? Neither of them were going. Was the battle god the only one going? However, it seemed like the battle god was very calm. It seemed like he had already expected this outcome. He said, "Okay, I'll go alone." After that, he looked at Lin Xian and the others and said, "You don't have to worry about the situation in the 9th Serenity. Within 3 years, only people from the divine realm can enter. The people from the Nirvana realm and the Supreme Palace can't enter yet. I will set up a sea-stabilizing divine needle in the 9th Serenity." After that, he looked up at the sky. His fiery eyes of truth could see through heaven and earth. In the distance, Sun Qiqian, who was with Xiajiao, saw this scene and hurriedly threw out the iron rod in his hand. The iron rod turned into a bolt of lightning and arrived in front of the war god. "Freeze!" The war god shouted in a low voice, and the iron rod stood on the ground. Then it kept growing bigger and bigger. Lin Xian and the others hurriedly retreated. Between heaven and earth, the iron rod seemed to have turned into a mountain, standing indomitable between heaven and earth. A terrifying aura spread out from it. What was this? It was too terrifying. Lin Xian was shocked. Guanghan Immortal said, "This is the weapon of the war god. The sea-stabilizing divine needle. With him here, he could stabilize the world. In this way, even the people from the Nirvana realm and the Supreme Palace couldn't enter. I'm going." After doing this, the war god rose into the air and left on a cloud. "Kid, you're on your own." The moon goddess also left. Guanghan Immortal said, "The 9th Serenity is very mysterious. A shocking battle once happened here, and many treasures were dropped. Some of them should still be here. We're going to take a look." The 2 Earth Immortals also left. "Lin Xian, where are you going next?" "Why don't we go together?" Sun Qiqian didn't leave. Lin Xian said, "I still have something to do." "What is it?" "I was targeted by an Earth Immortal. I originally thought that this time I could use your father and the others to get rid of the other party. However, that guy was very cunning and actually ran away. I can't let such a potential scourge target me. I need to get him in trouble. What should he do? Should I invite those 2 land immortals over?" Lin Xian shook his head. "No, I have another way. That guy offended the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty. I am prepared to go to the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty and invite their people over." Lin Xian had his own ideas. For the past 3 years, only those from the domain of the gods had been able to enter. However, 3 years later, the Permitha realm and the Paragon Palace would definitely make a comeback. He had come to understand that the god domain had more than one enemy. In addition to the Permitha, there was also the Paragon Temple. Although these 2 forces might not completely join hands, it would be troublesome if they really joined hands. Therefore, Lin Xian had to pull in another faction that could stand up to the Paragon Hall. It should be the legendary Yuhua, Immortal Dynasty of the past. Therefore, Lin Xian decided to go. "All right, I will go look for treasures first." When the time comes, I will leave you with the spatial coordinates. You can come and find me. Okay. Lin Xian nodded. Then Sun Qiqian also left. Lin Xian and the others left the 9 underworlds. He asked Xue Qi to return to the Divine Union. He gathered the people of the Divine Union and headed to the 9 underworlds together. These 3 years were a good opportunity. Therefore, he planned to let the people of the Divine Union go in. As for him, he went to the quintessential world, middle ground, under the ground of the Yuhua, immortal dynasty. Lin Xian held the longevity lamp. When he arrived, he met the emperor's imprint again. He recounted what had happened and said, "Senior, it was not easy for me to collect a piece of the emperor's bone. In the end, it was suppressed by that demonic immortal." What demonic immortal? A mere demonic immortal dares to challenge the Yuhua immortal dynasty? He even dares to be disrespectful to the emperor's bone. He deserves to die. The emperor's imprint was furious. His body swayed and a terrifying aura spread out. The flame immortal. A low roar. A voice sounded in the depths of the Yuhua immortal dynasty. Then a figure rushed over like a meteor. In the next moment, he arrived in front of the emperor's imprint. What a terrifying flame aura. Lin Xian's hair stood on end, even though he had the 9 young divine body. Although he had a 9 underworld's body, the light on his body was suppressed and dimmed in front of this figure. The person in front of him was a tall man. The flame aura on his body was extremely terrifying. It seemed like he had reached the level of an earth immortal. The Yuhua immortal dynasty was indeed extraordinary. Go to the 9 underworlds to kill the demonic immortal and take back the emperor's bone. Yes, the flame immortal nodded. Then he turned around and pressed a finger between Lin Xian's eyebrows. Lin Xian was stunned. However, in the next moment, the flame immortal retracted his hand. Lin Xian understood that the flame immortal was looking for the demonic immortal. Sure enough, after receiving the demonic immortal's information, the flame immortal's body swayed and rushed into the sky, disappearing. Then Lin Xian also left and returned to the Divine Union. The people of the Divine Union were all ready. They were extremely excited. They could go to the 9 underworlds continent. It was said that there were endless treasures there. They were just waiting for Lin Xian to come back and set off. On this day, when Lin Xian came back, they all cheered. The Crimson Dragon and the Toad rushed over. "Kid, we're waiting for you to pull us away." Brother Xian, Murong Qingcheng Yenruyu, and the others also walked over. The 2 of them were also extremely excited. Lin Xian took their hands and said, "Let's go to the 9 underworlds." The people of the Divine Union set off. In fact, they were not the only ones. The other families and sects also wanted to go. After all, it was a new and mysterious place. They naturally had to go and explore it. However, they found that they could not enter at all. There was a sea-calming divine needle there. How could this be? Countless people were in despair. Could they not enter? The news came from the Divine Union. 3 years. You can enter after 3 years. 3 years? All right, we'll wait. The Yi family, the Gu family, and other great emperor families began to wait for 3 years. To them, it was not a long time. However, some people could not wait, such as the people of the Permitha. They gritted their teeth. Despicable. This is really despicable. This time, they had mobilized 2 Earth Immortals, but they had not succeeded. Countless people of the Permitha were terrified. Has the Divine Union become so powerful? The Grand Supreme was also furious. However, he did not make a move because this was not the crucial moment of the decisive battle. He could not leave so easily while he was cultivating. Wasn't it just 3 years? They had waited for so long. However, they would not let the Divine Union have an easy time. The Grand Supreme waved his hand, and the sky punishment sword in the sky kept spinning. Then, it condensed into two extremely terrifying sword shadows. He summoned the virtual immortals and Master Rashi and said to them, "Take these two immortal swords and head to the Azure Land. I don't need to tell you what to do, right?" "Don't worry, Grand Supreme, we understand." The two Earth Immortals took the sword shadows and took a deep breath. They were extremely excited. Although it was only the two sword shadows of the Sky Punishment Sword, their power was already extremely terrifying. That was because their Heavenly Punishment Sword was complete and undamaged. "Let's go." The virtual immortals and Master Rashi left. They headed to the Azure Land. Chapter 6093. The Heavenly Land was completely different from the Ninth Underworld. The Ninth Underworld was extremely cold. On the other hand, the Heavenly Land was a vast expanse of sky and earth. Shangqing City was a very ancient city in the Heavenly Land. Moreover, it was an extremely important ancient city. Half of Shangqing City had already been opened. Lin Zhan, Lord Alcohol, the Empress, and the others were all inside. These great emperors' faces were pale. This battle was not easy for them. At this moment, the number of people around Lin Zhan and the others increased again. Obviously, some of the great emperors of the heavenly court had awakened from their deep slumber. Some of them had returned from the river of time. At this moment, there were a total of 30 great emperors here. They worked together and entered Shangqing City. However, some of the palaces and pavilions in Shangqing City were still sealed. They needed to be opened before they could enter. More importantly, they found a pagoda in Shangqing City, a pagoda with a mysterious yellow aura. The demon emperor instantly exclaimed, "This is the Heaven-Earth mysterious yellow pagoda." Lin Zhan, Lord Alcohol, and the others were also surprised. They didn't expect this legendary pagoda to be in Shangqing City. The demon emperor took the lead and rushed over. Demonic aura filled the sky, wanting to subdue the Heaven-Earth mysterious yellow pagoda. However, the Heaven-Earth mysterious yellow pagoda shook. The mysterious yellow aura on it fell and blocked everything. The demon emperor was forced back. He snorted coldly, "You're really powerful." Lord Alcohol shook his head and said, "Don't attack. You can't take it away. If you didn't die back then and cultivated until now, you might be able to take it away. However, you've missed too much time." The demon emperor glared at Lord Alcohol and said, "You old ghost, weren't you seriously injured and almost died? If I can't take it away, you can't take it away either." Indeed, Lord Alcohol, Lin Zhan, and the others also couldn't take the Heaven-Earth mysterious yellow pagoda away. The Empress said, "That's fine. Anyway, Shangqing City has already been taken down by us. Next, we have plenty of time to take the Heaven-Earth mysterious yellow pagoda." Yes, everyone nodded. They continued to crack the other palaces and pavilions. However, two silhouettes appeared in the Tsang land. Two silhouettes with extremely terrifying chi. They were Essence Immortal and Turtle Hermit. The two of them flew like lightning. The virtual immortal's eyes shot out an extremely cold light that pierced through all directions. Soon, he locked onto a position. "Over there. Let's go. It should be Shangqing City. Speed up." The two of them burst out again, tearing the endless void apart. Soon, they arrived outside Shangqing City. The virtual immortal slashed out with his sword, and the dragon-slaying sword fell mercilessly. Boom. Shangqing City began to shake violently. In the city, Lin Zhan, Lord Alcohol, and the others' expressions changed. "Oh no, someone is attacking Shangqing City. Who is it?" They all stretched out their souls. When they saw the two figures outside, they all sucked in a breath of cold air. Two land immortals. Was Higgin crazy? Were they planning to bring forward the final battle? One must know that although Earth immortals were terrifying, they were all injured in the battle back then. Furthermore, their injuries were quite severe. Very few of them would be able to recover to their peak. Under normal circumstances, land immortals would rest and recuperate. They were either cultivating in seclusion or hiding somewhere. He didn't expect that Earth immortals would appear, and there were two of them. Let's go and take a look. Lin Zhan waved his hand and led everyone forward. Even if they were Earth immortals, they weren't afraid. Soon, they arrived at the city wall. Looking at the two figures outside, he said coldly, "Go back. We have already opened Shangqing City." A bunch of ants without a single Earth immortal. How dare they be impudent in front of me? Essence Immortal snorted coldly. Turtle Hermit sneered. He stretched out his big claws, covering the sky and earth as he flew through the air. This palm was extremely terrifying. In an instant, it arrived above everyone's heads. Everyone felt their hair stand on end. No matter how strong they were still a little weak when facing an Earth immortal. But so what? Lin Zhan roared. He waved his hand, and a flag appeared in his hand. The green flag danced, and some light appeared in Shangqing City, forming a shield to block the attack. With a clang, the shield blocked the other party's big claws. The endless void shattered. Lin Zhan shouted coldly, "I can mobilize the power of Shangqing City." So, what if you were an Earth immortal? This was the source of Lin Zhan's confidence. Once an ancient city in the heavenly land was opened, they would take the lead and control this ancient city. It was equivalent to a solid fortress. Even an Earth immortal would not be able to take it down easily. This was also the reason why they had to act quickly. There were not many ancient cities like this. Moreover, not only in the heavenly land, but also in the netherworld. Therefore, after 3 years, Bayan and the people of the Supreme Palace would probably go crazy, because in these 3 years, they did not know how many cities they could conquer. Damn it, Turtle Hermit gritted his teeth. The Essence Immortal said, "Shangqing City is not like other ancient cities. From the power just now, you only opened the city gate. You did not completely occupy this ancient city. So, we still have a chance. Let's attack together." After the Essence Immortal finished speaking, the two of them instantly attacked. The dragon-slaying sword fell from the sky. On the other side, Turtle Hermit rushed over quickly. He used his huge turtle shell to hit the city gate, causing it to shake violently. Countless laws of light swept out. The expressions of the people in the city changed drastically. Damn it, everyone, activate the devouring sword. A black vortex appeared in Lord Alcohol's eyes. A black longsword appeared in front of him. It was pitch black, as if it could devour everything. The terrifying devouring aura caused the surrounding clouds to change. Everyone nodded and injected their power into the devouring sword. Then Lord Alcohol controlled the devouring sword and slashed down. Boom! Turtle Hermit was sent flying and continued to roll. The Essence Immortal also stopped. An extremely strange light burst out from his eyes. Devouring sword. That's right, Lord Alcohol said. Devouring sword, one of the 5 swords in the world. What's your relationship with the Empress? The Essence Immortal asked coldly. The Empress was the sky-devouring great emperor, the creator of the sky-devouring jar. She was a great emperor with earth-shattering strength. Lord Alcohol said coldly, "The Empress is my senior sister. I see. You are the Liquor Sword Immortal, although you have the Devouring Sword. So what? It's not complete. A portion of it is in the Empress' hands. It's not complete, but it's enough to deal with you." An extremely cold light burst out from Lord Alcohol's eyes. His entire body seemed to have turned into a black hole. The devouring sword in his hand was even more terrifying. With a slash of the sword, even the sky was swallowed. It was pitch black, and one couldn't even see their own fingers. Boom, boom. However, in this pitch black darkness, Two thunderous sounds rang out. Two bolts of lightning cut through the darkness. They tore two large cracks in the darkness. Light reappeared. Then the Essence Immortal and Turtle Hermit walked out. Lightning surrounded their bodies as they sneered. "This is—" The Liquor Sword Immortal's expression changed. The Demon Emperor also exclaimed, "The power of heavenly punishment. That's right. This time, Lord Grand Supreme specially gave us the power of the heavenly punishment sword. So, you are dead meat." Chapter 6094. Looking at the two sword shadows in the other party's hands, Lin Zhan and Lord Alcohol's expressions turned ugly. The situation was not good. Lin Zhan took a deep breath and said, "Everyone, get ready. I'm afraid there will be a bitter battle." Everyone nodded. They had all experienced great battles and were not afraid of death. Kill. After taking out the power of the heavenly punishment sword, the virtual immortal and Master Rashi also roared and used their full strength. They rushed over and instantly tore apart the light shield that Lin Zhan had set up. They came to the city wall. Then the dragon-slaying sword slashed out. Attack. Lin Zhan roared and punched. Boom, boom, boom. His fist was extremely terrifying. However, he only had two divine fires, and the other party was a true land immortal. Although his fist burst forth with boundless power, it was still split apart. Lin Zhan retreated. On the other side, Master Rashi also attacked. With a sweep of his claws, half of the Empress's body split open. However, the Empress's strength was also very strong. Moreover, she had a human body and a snake tail. Countless snake spirits grew out of her broken body. Lord Alcohol hurriedly waved the devouring sword and swallowed the power of the land immortal. However, there were two people on the other side. When Master Rashi was blocked, the virtual immortal moved again. His sword pierced towards the Demon Emperor. This was a fatal blow. The sword pierced through the Demon Emperor. "No!" Everyone cried out in surprise. Demon blood dripped from the sky, forming countless black holes. "Go to hell, and—" The virtual immortal's expression was cold. However, the Demon Emperor raised his head. He smiled. The virtual immortal snorted. "Idiot, you're about to die, and you're still smiling?" The dragon-slaying sword in his hand became even more terrifying. "Destroyed for me." The Demon Emperor's body and mind split open. But in the next moment, the virtual immortal's expression changed. He didn't tear the Demon Emperor apart, but the other party did it on his own accord. An earth-shattering power erupted and swept out in all directions. "Did this guy destroy himself?" Lai Tian Emperor exclaimed. The others were all stunned. They had just attacked, and one of their people died. The virtual immortal walked back from the cracks in the sky. He didn't look too good. There was a lot of demon blood entangling his body, wanting to enter his body. "Get lost." 3 streaks of immortal chi erupted from his body and began to erase the devil blood. That damned thing actually dared to put me in such a difficult position. Unforgivable. Not only will he die, all of you will die. The killing intent in the virtual immortal's eyes grew even more intense. However, at this moment, a sigh came from between heaven and earth. Is it useless? As expected of a land immortal, the power of self-destruction was actually unable to cause you much harm. Hearing this voice, everyone was stunned. Was this the voice of the Demon Emperor? That's not right. Isn't that guy dead? How could he still be alive? The virtual immortal's face darkened. "Stop playing tricks. Get out here." The dragon-slaying sword exploded forth, tearing apart heaven and earth. However, in the sky, the boundless demonic chi once again condensed and transformed into the figure of the Demon Emperor. No way, he was really still alive. The sky-rending martial monarch and the others were dumbfounded. This guy's moves were too terrifying. How was this possible? The virtual immortal didn't quite believe it either. The demon monarch stood in the nine heavens and said in a clear voice, "I am a demon, immortal and indestructible. Immortal and indestructible. Demon." The great emperors on the side of the divine realm were all shocked. This demon emperor was really too strange. The other party wasn't from the divine realm. He was just working together with them. However, the other party's absolute divine ability was truly terrifying. The virtual immortal snorted coldly. What a joke. It's easy to live forever, but difficult to not die. Who can be immortal and indestructible? You? Stupid thing. After saying that, he rushed out again. The dragon-slaying sword transformed into countless killing intent that danced in all directions. This sword energy was too terrifying. Heaven and earth collapsed, and the endless sky was trembling. Not long after, the dragon-slaying sword slashed open MOD again. However, the demon emperor still used the same method, self-destruction. With a boom, a terrifying aura hit the dragon-slaying sword. The dragon-slaying sword shook violently. The virtual immortal's face darkened. He was hit by this power again. Although this power was destructive, it didn't cause much harm to a land immortal like him. However, he was still in a sorry state, because after this attack, many black demonic patterns appeared on his body again, trying to drill into his body. He could only activate his immortal energy to destroy them again. "I won't die. I won't die." The demon emperor's voice sounded again. The demonic elements in all directions gathered and reformed his true body. How was this possible? The Iron Blood Great Emperor was also dumbfounded. What kind of divine ability did this guy cultivate? "I don't believe that he won't die if I use the power of the heavenly punishment sword to kill him." Master Rashi gritted his teeth. Indeed, he had been using the power of the dragon-slaying sword. There was no other way. The power of the heavenly punishment sword was precious, and they didn't want to waste it too much. It was just killing a great emperor. Was there a need to use the power of the heavenly punishment sword? This power was used to break through Shangqing City. However, the other party was so strange. It seemed that they could only use the heavenly punishment sword. The heavenly punishment sword in Master Rashi's hand slashed out, but it was blocked by the reincarnation sword. A boundless black hole appeared. "I won't let you use this power." Lord Alcohol's voice was cold. "Damn it." Master Rashi gritted his teeth. However, at this moment, the virtual immortal moved again. He also had a heavenly punishment sword in his hand. Go to hell. This time, he didn't use the dragon-slaying sword. Instead, he directly used the heavenly punishment sword. A dazzling light emitted tens of thousands of thunderbolts. The power of destruction shattered the universe. Not good. Retreat quickly. In the surroundings, the Iron Blood Great Emperor and the others spat out large mouthfuls of blood as they frantically retreated. This was the power of the 5 swords in the world. When used by an Earth Immortal, it could really destroy everything. Even the Demon Emperor furrowed his brows. Although he was known to be immortal and indestructible, he didn't dare to take the power of the heavenly punishment head-on. Thus, he also began to sway in an attempt to dodge the attack. "It's useless. Are you afraid?" "Ha ha!" The heavenly punishment sword slashed down mercilessly. However, at this moment, Lin Zhan made his move. He had a large green flag in his hand. It carried the power of Shangqing City and blocked the heavenly punishment sword. Lin Zhan shouted coldly, "Do you think I don't exist?" Heaven-battling divine body. Erupt! The divine fire on his body pulsed. His physique was extremely powerful. At this moment, he was like a peerless god of war. He held the flag with both hands and waved it crazily. The power of Shangqing City formed a vortex to resist the power of the heavenly punishment. there was an intense collision and a terrifying explosion. Shangqing City was indeed an ancient and mysterious city in the celestial heavens. Although it was only a portion of its power, it still blocked the heavenly punishment sword. "Stupid, let's see how long you can wait." The virtual immortal shouted angrily. Killing intent appeared in his eyes. The heavenly punishment sword in his hand fell mercilessly. The second strike, the third strike. Lin Zhan's blood boiled. He gritted his teeth and held on. However, cracks still appeared on his arm. There was no other way. The difference in strength between the two sides was too great. It was already heaven-defying for him to be able to mobilize the power of Shangqing City to block the attack. After another strike, he vomited large mouthfuls of blood. "You can't hold on anymore, right?" The virtual immortal laughed sinisterly. Chapter 60-95. The virtual immortal's cold voice sounded, making one's scalp tingle. However, Lin Zhan was not afraid of an earth immortal. His eyes were filled with battle intent. He roared at the sky, "With my battle blood, I will dye the world red." The battle blood dripping from his body turned into countless blood-colored fists that rushed forward crazily. Boom, boom. These fists all landed on the virtual immortal. The virtual immortal's robe fluttered, blocking these fists. "It's useless, little ant." Lin Zhan's battle blood boiled, and he roared again as he controlled the large cyan flag. He also unleashed his exceptional divine ability. This time, blood-red flames appeared on those blood-red fists and continued to burn. The power of each fist increased exponentially. "With my battle blood, I will dye the world red." Boom, boom. This time, the virtual immortal was stunned. He realized that the robe on his body seemed to have dimmed. This guy could actually use his strength to such an extent. It was too unbelievable. One had to know that he was an earth immortal. In his eyes, unless someone of the same level as him was an earth immortal. Otherwise, anyone below the level of an earth immortal was like an ant that he could easily kill. Even if you borrowed external power, so what? You were still no match for him. However, the battle intent of the man in front of him was too strong. It was a will that would rather die than submit. It could actually shake his body. Suddenly, the virtual immortal was stunned. An image appeared in his mind. That image was the battle back then. It was incomparably tragic. There was a Varch who punched in all directions. His battle intent was surging. He actually challenged an earth immortal alone. The result of that battle was obvious. The great emperor fell, killed by a single slash of a blade. "I remember now. You are that Tharch back then. You are called the Battle Tharch. You were killed by the Saber Immortal, right? I didn't expect you to survive and come back to life. However, so what? You will die soon. If the Saber Immortal could kill you back then, the virtual immortal can too." The virtual immortal roared. He was going to use his strength. Immortal chi erupted from his body, and a powerful force swept through everything. Lin Zhan was forced back, and he spat out even more blood. However, he roared, "I want to fight an immortal." At this moment, he did not care about his life and death, and executed his peerless divine ability. It was useless. The virtual immortal said in disdain, "The gap between us is too big." However, at this moment, a black world appeared above his head and enveloped him. At the same time, the demon emperor's voice sounded. Divine ability, descent of the demonic earth. The devil emperor had actually charged over as well. He said coldly, "I can also fight immortals. Dai Yuan." The virtual immortal was completely enraged. He felt challenged. Normally, when he was on the other side, the great emperors would kneel and kowtow to him. Now, he actually dared to make a move against him. Unforgivable. Immortal chi erupted from his body, and the might of the dragon-slaying sword condensed. One sword slaying a dragon, one sword slaying a god, one sword slaying the world. A terrifying power filled the air. Demon land, 10,000 mountains. The Devil Emperor roared, and countless overlapping black mountains appeared in his Devil Earth. Let's go to. Behind him, the great land of iron and blood, the sky-rending martial monarch, and the others followed suit. So what if the gap was huge? So what if the other party is a land immortal? They were not afraid of anything. As such, the martial monarchs immediately charged forward and attacked wildly. On the other side, Master Roshi was also locked in a fierce battle. He had gone crazy. He couldn't believe that he couldn't kill a bunch of ants. The heavenly punishment sword was blocked by the devouring sword. Originally, he didn't care. After all, he was a land immortal. However, the person who used the devouring sword was also terrifying. He shouldn't be an ordinary great emperor. Lord Alcohol smiled. I have a name called the Wine Sword Immortal. Feel my sword technique. After saying that, he slapped his storage ring, and a huge red gourd appeared. After he opened it, countless wine gushed out. Lord Alcohol drank in large mouthfuls. Then he threw his head back and laughed. Riding the wind on his sword, he traveled freely between heaven and earth. As Lord Alcohol's voice fell, the surrounding void changed. Countless sword energies inexplicably rushed out. It was unknown where they came from, but their target was Master Roshi. The terrifying sword energies were so high that they were like abyssal beasts that wanted to devour Master Roshi. Scram! Master Roshi roared. His claws danced, tearing all the black sword energies apart. Then he roared, "Turtle Immortal Fist!" He punched out. This was a peerless, immortal technique with boundless power. It directly charged towards Lord Alcohol. Lord Alcohol's figure fluttered. He quickly retreated and dodged. At the same time, he slashed out with his sword, a sword that could split mountains and rivers and swallow the sun and moon. The Wine Sword Immortal's sword energies danced. This was his famous technique, the sword manipulation art. Once, a sword could destroy the world and swallow the sky. Its terrifying power was unimaginable. The black sword energy danced in the air, and they actually enveloped Master Roshi's fist. It seemed to want to swallow it. Not only that, but Master Roshi's other arm and legs were also wrapped by the black sword energies. Master Roshi roared, You want to swallow me? Scram! His body trembled, and a tyrannical power flew out, tearing the black sword energies apart. However, the sword manipulation art was endless. Endless sword energies flew out from Lord Alcohol's body. At this moment, the Empress also came. She took out her jade rui. The jade rui was beautifully carved, and there were mysterious patterns of the great Tao on it. The Empress held the jade rui in her left hand and formed a seal with her right hand. She said coldly, Rui, Rui, follow my heart. The patterns of the great Tao on the jade rui suddenly bloomed. A mysterious aura flew out and surged forward. This aura was too strange. It actually made Master Roshi's hair stand on end. What is this? Could it be a piece of jade that fell out of the immeasurable land? This is the immeasurable jade. You actually have this thing, and you even forged it into a weapon. Master Roshi was going crazy. What kind of people are they? Although they are only great emperors and are inferior to us, why are the treasures in their hands so heaven-defying? Even Earth Immortals might not have such immeasurable jade. Crazy! At this moment, Master Roshi was really going crazy. The divine realm was really difficult to deal with. No wonder he couldn't destroy it no matter how hard he tried. Boom, boom, boom. The power of the jade rui hit Master Roshi, causing his body to stiffen. He originally wanted to shrink his body into the turtle shell, but now his movements became so slow. The combination of the jade rui and the devouring sword made Master Rashi roar angrily. "You have angered me. Immortal technique. Earthquake." His huge body leaped high into the air before landing heavily on the ground. With a boom, the entire void was instantly torn apart by him, forming a black hole. Not only that, a mysterious shock wave condensed and formed on his body, sweeping toward the surroundings. "Not good. Retreat quickly," Wine Sword Immortal exclaimed when he saw this scene. He struck out the devouring sword technique and cut off the surroundings. The black vortex began to devour the power of the earthquake. However, many vortexes were directly shattered. "Haha, it's useless. Wine Sword Immortal, I see that your realm has dropped a lot. What do you have to fight me?" Master Rashi laughed heartily. Relying on his earth-shaking power, he rushed over. He would kill Wine Sword Immortal first, and then the Jade Rui. Chapter 1696. Master Rashi executed an immortal technique causing the earth to shake and the mountains to shake. Its power was extremely terrifying as it charged towards the Wine Sword Immortal. At this critical moment, the sky suddenly split open. Countless golden lights scattered from the clouds, as if a golden body had appeared. This sudden change in the world shocked everyone. Master Rashi's expression changed. "Not good. It's that damn monkey's aura." Sure enough, 2 flames fell from the sky. These were the fiery eyes of truth, and they charged towards Master Rashi. Although the 2 flames were small, they formed a monstrous fire as soon as they landed, sweeping in all directions. Master Rashi's figure flashed as he hid in his turtle shell, rolling in the sea of fire. He retreated to the side, gritted his teeth, and said, "Damn monkey, you've gone too far. You're haunting me, aren't you? Great, you're finally here." When Lord Alcohol saw this scene, he also laughed. On the other side, the virtual immortal's expression changed drastically. "It's this fighting god again. He wanted to help, but Master Rashi said, 'Don't bother.' Do you really think that I'm easy to bully? I want to see if he still has the ability from back then." Master Rashi was also furious. Last time in the Netherworld, he was scared away by the other party. Now that he met the fighting god again in the heavens, he wouldn't run away again. He wanted to fight him. Immortal technique, Blue Tide Birth. Beside Master Rashi, an endless sea suddenly appeared and swept towards the sky. It wanted to extinguish the flames. Lin Zhan was shocked. He seemed to have seen this technique before, but its power couldn't be compared to this. Could it be that this was a technique created by Master Rashi? It's too terrifying. He felt that if the great emperor was enveloped by this sea, he would be instantly extinguished. Facing such a terrifying blue tide birth, the fighting god didn't use flames. He said coldly, "Heaven and earth, heed my command. Call the wind and summon the rain." As soon as his voice fell, a violent storm raged between heaven and earth. Terrifying rain fell from the sky, as if it could penetrate everything. The battle between the immortal technique and the divine ability was extremely terrifying. The call the wind and summon the rain blocked the blue tide birth. This wasn't the end. The fighting god's body landed. At the same time, he shouted coldly again, "Celestial body." His body continued to grow in size until he stood tall, as if he had turned into a deity. A terrifying power swept across the sky. The blue sea tide was suppressed by this law phenomenon, and Master Rashi was also suppressed. He looked up at the sky and roared, "Block it for me." His physique also changed. The turtle shell on his body shone with a mysterious light. It had the strongest defense. He hid inside the turtle shell. He used all his strength to resist the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth. The collision between the two was earth-shattering. The surrounding martial monarchs were forced to retreat. In the face of this attack, they were all trembling in fear. If such a lawful embodiment of heaven and earth were to fall, it was likely that no one would be able to escape. On the other side, the virtual immortal stopped attacking. Instead, he stared straight ahead. I wonder if Master Rashi can withstand it? Just as he was thinking about this, a scream suddenly came from the turtle's shell. Then he spat out a mouthful of blood, and the huge tortoise shell dimmed. "Save me!" Master Rashi screamed. The virtual immortal's expression changed as he slashed his saber at the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth. The two of them worked together, and Master Rashi managed to escape. After coming out, Master Rashi's face was pale and extremely miserable. His eyes were once again filled with fear. "Damn it, this damn monkey's cultivation has deepened again. Don't be afraid. We still have the sword shadow of the heavenly punishment sword," the virtual immortal said. That's right, Master Rashi also snorted coldly. In the next moment, the two of them displayed two sword shadows that carried boundless lightning. "Damn monkey, do you dare to resist the power of the heavenly punishment sword? It's just the sword shadow of the heavenly punishment sword. It's not the real heavenly punishment sword. Why wouldn't I dare?" The fighting god put away the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth. He floated in the void, and a primordial power suddenly erupted from his body. The grand grade heavenly god technique. When this voice was heard, the entire sky continent started to shake violently. Even Chongqing City was shaking slightly. The surrounding martial monarchs felt their hair stand on end. Even the expressions of Master Rashi and the virtual immortal changed. Damn it, this guy actually cultivated a divine technique. Impossible. The grand grade heavenly god technique was an extremely terrifying technique in the legends. It was terrifying to the extreme. Once mastered, it would be earth-shattering. However, no one had mastered it. Firstly, it was too difficult, so difficult that it was unimaginable. In the past million years, there had only been a handful of people with cultivation talent. Secondly, after mastering it, one would also be struck by lightning. It was very difficult to survive. Therefore, this kind of thing only appeared in legends. How could anyone master it? Unexpectedly, the fighting god could actually use the grand grade heavenly god technique. "It's fake. It must be fake," Master Rashi roared. The virtual immortal also shouted angrily. "Who cares if it's real or fake? Even if it's a divine technique, it will be destroyed by the heavenly punishment sword. The entire heavenly land is controlled by our Supreme Lord." After saying that, the sword shadows in their hands flew out and condensed into two dark clouds in the sky. The power of the heavenly punishment sword continued to spread. Everyone around felt their hair stand on end. This power was really too terrifying. The power to destroy the world. Lord Alcohol also said, "I'll block it with the devouring sword." After saying that, black sword energy bloomed between heaven and earth, spreading out like thick ink. However, the fighting god said, "No need. It's just a sword shadow. I can deal with it." After saying that, an extremely terrifying light erupted from his eyes. Then he finally stretched out a palm. One had to know that the fighting god had been sitting cross-legged from the beginning until now. The other party seemed to be cultivating, so he only used the fiery golden eyes. The other party's palms and limbs had never moved at all. But now, facing the heavenly punishment sword shadow, he finally stretched out his palm. His palm didn't have any light, and it was like a stone statue. There were still some moss and small cracks in the stone, but it was such a palm that made the earth immortals tremble in fear. Grand grade heavenly god technique. Palm facing the sky. The stone palm slapped towards the sky. Compared to the thunder, it seemed so small, but the power above was not weak at all. In fact, it was even stronger. Palm facing the sky. Was this the true strength of the fighting god? The Iron Blood Great Emperor exclaimed. The demon emperor's expression was also extremely solemn. Even he was envious of this kind of strength. The empress also said, "He's too powerful. I feel that he has completely surpassed the virtual immortal and Master Rashi." At this moment, all the great emperors were shocked. This palm seemed to have enveloped the entire sky. The entire heavenly land was surging like a storm. Outside the heavenly land, the deity land, the universe, and the people of other families and sects seemed to have sensed it. They were so scared that their faces turned pale. What happened? Why were they so uneasy? Someone was using a peerless divine ability. Some great emperors were even trembling in fear. They looked into the distance. What kind of peerless powerhouse was this? He was so strong that they couldn't imagine it. In the heavenly land, a palm facing the sky collided with the heavenly punishment that filled the sky. The power of the heavenly punishment erupted, destroying heaven and earth. This was the law of heaven and earth. The heavenly punishment sword belonged to the heavenly god of Nirvana. The other party was known as the controller of heaven and earth. Everything had to be operated under his will. But now, the fighting god was about to break the heavenly punishment. Chapter 1697. Under everyone's attention, the two collided. Earth-shattering destructive power erupted. He actually blocked it? The virtual immortal was dumbfounded. Master Rashi also couldn't believe it. He blocked the power of two heavenly punishments with one palm facing the sky. It was too unbelievable. Had the other party's divine art reached such a level? The stone-like hand blotted out the sky and blocked all the lightning in the sky. The fighting god's gaze fell, and his fiery golden eyes bloomed. He stared at Master Rashi and the virtual immortal. The two of them felt their hair stand on end. Master Rashi gritted his teeth and asked, "Damn it, what realm have you reached? You don't need to know. You just need to know that you shouldn't have come here." The fighting god stretched out his other hand. It turned into a fist and fiercely blasted over with the power of the divine art. Not good. The virtual immortal hurriedly dodged. Master Rashi also roared angrily and hid in his turtle shell. With a boom, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. His turtle shell became dim. A crack actually appeared on it, scaring him so much that he quickly screamed and fled. The virtual immortal gritted his teeth. He couldn't let them feel so good. Although they wanted to leave, they had to let the other party feel despair. Thinking of this, he snorted coldly and waved his hand. A sword shadow in the sky instantly split open. The destructive power completely erupted and enveloped Upper Azure City. After that, the second heavenly punishment sword shadow also split open. Not good. The expressions of Lin Zhan, Demon Emperor, and the others changed drastically. This power was definitely enough to threaten their lives. Humph! The fighting god's face darkened. He raised his palm and slapped at the virtual immortal. The virtual immortal was hit and spat out blood. Cracks appeared on his body. Damn it! The two land immortals quickly fled. When Lord Alcohol saw this scene, he hurriedly used the devouring sword. A pitch-black longsword appeared, forming a monstrous vortex that enveloped heaven and earth. It was the power to resist the heavenly punishment. At the same time, he said, "Everyone, give me your power." Everyone injected their power into the devouring sword. The devouring sword kept rolling. Even the fighting god injected his power into it. Only then did he swallow all the lightning. Looking at the slowly disappearing vortex in the sky, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. Their expressions weren't very good. If the fighting god didn't come this time, they would really be in danger. Looks like I have to break through and become an Earth immortal. The Fiend Emperor's face was solemn. Lin Zhan's eyes were also shining. Both of them were super great emperors and had hopes of breaking through to become Earth immortals. Lord Alcohol also said, "I have to return to my peak." When he was at his peak, he was an Earth immortal. However, the great battle back then caused him to be severely injured. He had yet to fully recover. After we're done here, let's go to the 9 underworlds. The 9 Netherland was opened, and there were many treasures inside. After discussing for a while, everyone nodded in agreement. But before that, they had to completely conquer Shangqing City. At the same time, he had to take the heaven and earth mysterious yellow pagoda. This time, the war god personally took action. He said, "Let me do it." Lin Xian had already found the 7 treasures exquisite pagoda and the mysterious yellow pagoda. With Taiji as his foundation, he would soon attain his Tao. Really? Lin Zhan was elated. However, Lord Alcohol frowned. Was he really going to take the path of immortality? It was too dangerous. This kid is even more ruthless than me. The demon emperor also coldly snorted. Even he didn't dare to take the path of immortality. The war god said, although it's extremely dangerous, it's still worth a try. If he could really be the first to attain his Tao in the universe, he could go to the land of destiny. Perhaps he could really defy the heavens and change his fate. Everyone fell silent. Although that was the case, they were very clear about the dangers involved. Even a guy like the Demon Emperor didn't dare to try. One could imagine how dangerous it was. The Wine Sword Immortal said, "There has to be another Earth Immortal. Whether it's my recovery or someone else's breakthrough, we have to hurry. When the time comes, we can protect Lin Xian." That's right. Lin Zhan nodded. The Heavenly King would definitely not allow Xian to succeed. At that time, they would probably attack crazily. Everyone felt a heavy pressure weighing down on them. Next, the war god personally took action. He took the heaven-earth mysterious yellow pagoda. The mysterious yellow chi danced in the air. However, the war god was extremely powerful. He was an extremely terrifying existence among the Earth Immortals. Not long after, the heaven-earth mysterious yellow pagoda spun in the air, shrank, and flew into his palm. Great, he succeeded. The Wine Sword Immortal, the Empress, and the others were overjoyed. However, during this process, something unexpected happened. 2 rays of light flew out from the heaven-earth mysterious yellow pagoda and flew into the distance. One of the rays of light was a palace. In the palace, there was a huge phantom. It spread its wings and flew into the sky. In an instant, it tore through the void and flew into the distance. What was that? Many people were stunned. They wanted to make a move, but that light was too fast. The war god glanced at it and said, "It's actually the Heavenly Phoenix clan. They are actually in the heaven-earth mysterious yellow pagoda. Could it be that they were trapped inside back then?" The Demon Emperor looked to the other side and said, "The other one is the Earth Leviathan, right?" He ran so fast. Forget it, I don't have time to care about them. They continued to attack. Next, these people continued to attack. The battle in the heavenly land came to an end. Master Rashi and the virtual immortal returned with injuries. This shocked the people of the Heavenly King. Had the divine realm become so terrifying? Even the Grand Supreme frowned. However, when Master Rashi and the virtual immortal explained the matter, the Grand Supreme frowned. Did they pick that monkey from back then? Sure enough, he has some ability. He actually cultivated the divine technique. But from what you said, he shouldn't have fully cultivated it. Otherwise, he wouldn't be like a statue. Forget it, you two go and rest. There are still 3 years before you can go to the Netherworld. During this period, I will give you a chance to go to the Treasure Land. What you can get there will depend on your luck. Thank you, Grand Supreme. The Virtual Immortal and the Virtual Immortal were extremely excited. Although they didn't complete the mission, it wasn't that they were too weak, but that the enemy was too strong. Especially the appearance of the war god. They didn't expect it. Moreover, now was the time to use people. The Grand Supreme would let them make up for their mistakes. The place where the heavenly king was located was the eternal land. It was also one of the Jochian Shitty. Therefore, it was also extremely mysterious. There were some places that even they weren't qualified to enter. For example, this treasure land was a mysterious place in the eternal land. It was a place where treasures were hidden. Not many people went in, but it was said that there were countless treasures inside. The Saber Immortal had gone in before. It was said that he had obtained the celestial technique, so he was extremely powerful. This time, if the two of them went in, they might be able to obtain the celestial technique. How could they not be excited? The two of them thanked the Grand Supreme repeatedly. They swore that they would definitely not fail the next mission. On the other side, Lin Xian and the others also set off for the Netherworld. At the same time, there was another figure with them. It was the Flame Immortal. The Flame Immortal was also going this time. He was going to kill the Demon Immortal. Moreover, he wasn't from the divine realm. Therefore, he could only enter the Netherworld with the help of Lin Xian and the others. Chapter 6098. The 9 underworlds emitted a cold aura. There were countless people around, but they couldn't enter. However, on this day, countless rays of light flashed past. They were countless chariots and spirit boats. They came rolling in. The surrounding people were shocked when they saw this scene. What a terrifying aura! Which family or sect did they belong to? An old man snorted. It didn't matter which family or sect they were from. They could only look at this place and couldn't enter. Yes, it was said that the great emperor families were blocked, and the powerhouses from the deity ground couldn't enter. As they were discussing, these spirit boats and chariots pierced through the 9 heavens and entered the 9 underworlds. Those old men's eyes almost popped out. Countless people were shocked. Heavens, they went in? Damn it. Why? Could it be that the seal was broken? Let's rush into. These people rushed over quickly, but the power of the ocean's steadying divine needle knocked them back. Many people vomited blood. Why? Why could they enter? Look at the flag on the chariot. They are from the Divine Union. Divine Union. Lin Wudi. No wonder he could enter. Which one is Lin Wudi? He is my idol. Countless people exclaimed. Lin Wudi's name was like the sun in the sky, spreading throughout the 9 heavens. Many people were even saying that he was about to become a great emperor. These chariots belonged to the Divine Union. After entering the Crimson Dragon, and the others looked around. What a terrifying cold aura. But I like it. Black Mountain, North Demon, and the others were also happy. Lin Xian said to these people, split into several teams. Each team must be accompanied by a great emperor. The 9 underworlds wasn't simple. It was much more terrifying than the universe outside. Lin Xian knew that there were even Earth Immortals here. So even if they entered, they couldn't be careless. Fortunately, some great emperors in the heavenly court had recovered, with the great emperors accompanying them. It was fine as long as they didn't go to particularly dangerous places. Anyway, these people could improve their strength here. Kid, what about you? Toad asked. Lin Xian said, I have to deal with a guy. I'll meet up with you guys then. After speaking, he looked at the Flame Immortal. Senior, I have a plan. He began to transmit his voice. After that, Lin Xian left alone and flew towards the Creation Immortal Pond again. There was no one left in this place. The Celestial Pond had been split in half. The Immortal Pagoda inside was also taken out. When Lin Xian came back again, he created some commotion in order to lure the Demon Immortals over. You don't say. The Demon Immortal really did come. Last time, when the demonic immortals saw a few land immortals, they were so scared that they ran away. But after a while, he decided to come back and take a look. When he returned, he found that the Immortal Pagoda was gone. This made him almost vomit blood from anger. The Fortune Immortal Pond was also destroyed. Damn it, That pagoda was so mystical, it was an immortal item. That damn brat. He gritted his teeth at the thought of Lin Xian. But today, he actually saw Lin Xian again. It was this brat. He actually dared to come back. However, the demonic immortal didn't attack immediately. After all, there were a few Earth immortals around this kid last time. After secretly observing for a while, he found that Lin Xian came alone this time. The demonic immortal laughed sinisterly and rushed out. A huge aura enveloped heaven and earth. This was the power of a land immortal. It was enough to make anyone tremble. Lin Xian's body stiffened. He took out the great dragon sword soul to block. He also held the heaven-swallowing jar in his hand, as if he was facing a great enemy. "It's you." Lin Xian pretended to be surprised. "You're still here." The demonic immortal snorted. "Brat, you didn't expect it, right? The most dangerous place is the safest place. You actually dared to bring other land immortals and take away the immortal artifact. Let's see how I'll kill you today." The demonic immortal snorted and released an extremely terrifying killing intent. The surrounding sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Lin Xian said as he retreated, "Last time, I took away the immortal pagoda. This time, I came to find the emperor bone. Did you bring it with you?" "You mean that bone?" "That's right. I did bring it with me. What can you do to me? A mere quasi-emperor, like you dares to behave atrociously in front of me? I see that you have a lot of treasures on you. I'll capture you and torture you first to relieve the hatred in my heart." After saying that, his palm instantly stretched out. In his opinion, no matter how powerful Lin Xian was, he was just an ant in front of him. He couldn't withstand a single blow at all. Sure enough, with this palm strike, countless voids turned into black holes. It was extremely terrifying. Lin Xian didn't retreat. Instead, he sneered. "This guy is an idiot. Just wait for death." At this moment, a flame flew out from the 9 heavens and ruthlessly struck the palm. An earth-shattering sound rang out as the demonic immortal's palm directly split open. Countless demonic blood danced in the air. Lin Xian quickly dodged with the heaven-swallowing jar on his head. This demonic blood could easily pierce through a great emperor. "Ah!" the demonic immortal screamed. "Who dares to sneak attack me? Could it be that this kid called for reinforcements? Hiding in the dark?" He turned around and fled as if he was facing a great enemy. At this moment, flames that filled the sky descended from the sky. A figure stood in the boundless sea of flames. This figure was like a fire god. His might was unstoppable. "I am the flame immortal of the Yuhua immortal dynasty. You actually dared to suppress the bone of the emperor. Your crime is unforgivable. You deserve death." A cold voice sounded, causing one's soul to tremble. The demonic immortal was dumbfounded. Could it be that the people of the Yuhua immortal dynasty were here for that bone? His expression became ugly. "Damn it, it's this kid. This kid deliberately tricked him just now. He made him say the whereabouts of the bone." Lin Xian smiled. "That's right, this was a senior of the Yuhua immortal dynasty. Didn't you look down on the Yuhua immortal dynasty? How dare you suppress the bone of the emperor? Just wait for death." With that said, he retreated to the side to watch the show. The demonic immortal's expression was ugly, but he quickly said, "Fellow Taoist, this is a misunderstanding. I can return the emperor bone to you." With that said, he waved his hand and endless demonic energy condensed into a cage. There was a bone inside. With a push of his hand, he directly returned the bone to the flame immortal. Lin Xian was stunned after seeing this. This was possible. This was too cowardly. The flame immortal waved his hand and split open the cage. He held the emperor bone with both hands with a respectful expression. "Welcome, immortal emperor." With that said, he carefully took out a treasure box and put it away. "Fellow Taoist, the emperor bone has been returned. The grudge between us has been settled. I'm going to attack next. I hope you won't stop me." The demonic immortal stared at Lin Xian with killing intent in his eyes. In his opinion, the matter between him and the Yuhua immortal dynasty was already over. However, the flame immortal snorted coldly. "Over? You were disrespectful to the Emperor Bone previously. It's already a capital offense. How can I let you off?" "What?" The demonic immortal was stunned. He originally thought that he would return it. The grudge between the two sides was settled, but he was too naive. Was the Yuhua immortal dynasty so easy to talk to? The answer was no. The flame immortal wanted to continue attacking. He took a step forward. An immortal fire appeared in the 9 heavens. All kinds of terrifying immortal light surged. A biting cold aura charged forward. You're tuning into the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.